clobbering time.
It's clobbering time!
Clobberonimo!
Yeah, Clobberonimo indeed. Greetings. Clobberonimo! I love it. Greetings, Clobberonimos and clobberers and clobberettes and clobberoids and clobberooskies and to everyone else out there. The secret is to bang the rocks together, guys. Good to see you, my dear friends. Welcome to Clobbering Times issue number 582 on YouTube. 1,282 over 14 years of yelling into this thing. And it is Saturday Night Star Trek 120 DS9 reviews. And I am joined, as always, by the most wonderful, amazing, lovely first officer in the fleet, the amazing Commander R.M. Briggs. Thank you for being here.
Well, I don't think I deserve that beginning, but or that introduction,
That's
but
an
I'll
order.
take it. I love you very much. I am so happy to be here. I just want to say hail to the chat. I am Canadian, but I just wanted to pause for a second to acknowledge that it is Memorial Day weekend in the USA, and this is a time to pause and reflect. It's also a time to celebrate. Because there were some hard-fought freedoms, and those freedoms came at tremendous sacrifice. So time to celebrate, but also a time to reflect and be grateful. And so I'd like to recognize that. Sorry, everyone. My neighbor's young son has purchased a very loud vehicle because he's a grown man now. and needs attention. Anyway, I also want to thank my Patreon subs since the captain has given me the floor. I'm writing a new book. I am on story 4. I am 3,000 words in. And these are the marvelous human beings who are backing that book. Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, pew, pew, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, the great Eric K, the Bronze Wrencher, and Kirby. I'm very concerned. I just want everyone to send as much love as they possibly can to Eric. He's under the weather.
Yes.
I don't want to get into it because that's somebody else's private business. However, I will say this. He's been very public about the fact that he's under the weather. So he could use your prayers if you pray. And if you don't, he could use some good vibrations and maybe a nice little note saying, hey, how you doing? Because he is a very sweet and caring and wonderful person. And he could use our support.
Yes.
I also want to thank Enigmatic Drop Bear for backing my book. Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C, Jill, Maximum Redstone, JT Kirk, Dadman and the Dadman clan, and of course, Lord and Lady Thoth and little Lanza Thoth. Thank you so much. I'm very excited about the 4th story coming out this month. We're now with the book launch behind us. It's back to business as usual. Let's get this book done. It's going to be a great fun classic science fiction. And so I think I've used up enough of everyone's time. And I just want to say hail to the captain. Captain, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to talk about Star Trek with this marvelous group of amazing people, these wonderful conversationalists, these wonderful Trekkies. And you're one of my favorite people in this whole wide world. So let's do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, number one, for all that. I appreciate you. And thank you all for supporting number one's wonderful work. I cannot thank you enough. We really appreciate it. And thank you all for being here tonight. Always such a fun time, and so great to see so many of you there. I will start out with some show notes, and then we will move on to our usual shout outs. How about that? Let's see here. Show notes. Where are your shout outs? Show notes. Two pretty little show notes. Lovely little show notes. Where are you? Here we go. All right. Sorry. All right. But first of all, where I moved it to the wrong side. Okay. Sunday night, I'll be hanging out with the great Mark D with a C on his geekery, Sunday Night Geekery channel. His channel for Sunday Night Geekery. That'll be 10 p.m. Eastern time. Where we will.
That is a very nice show poster that you made for him. That is a very nice show poster. Everyone in the chat, look at this marvelous show poster that the captain made for Mark D with the C's show to promote it on his own show. Is this guy not the salt of the earth? I mean, this guy is the greatest guy.
It's pretty pedestrian, but he could do better. But yeah. Anyway, but that will be Sunday night. And thank you, number one, by the way. That will be Sunday night. Let's see here. Trying to get everything written down. Sorry, folks. Multitasking.
There are a couple of references in the chat that I will get to while you were writing those names down.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good.
We have a call for some Moogie. You little Reckies. And also, you little Trekkies. And then JT Kirk is calling upon you to do the little life form. Tiny little life forms.
What are you? I can't do it the way Data did it. I tried. I did my own variation on it. Anyway, show notes. Pretty little show notes. Anyway, and then, of course, Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be over there with the great J-Man on his channel, reviewing 3 more installments of our chronological review, chronology, whatever you call it, of the Legion of Superheroes, from 58 to 86, silver and bronze, baby. And again, with J-Man and Sean over there, so can't wait for that. And then, of course, Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. I'll do a little Clobby's Classic Comics review and some open comics talk, and even a special secret comic review, which I can't tell you what it is because it's a dang secret. And then, of course, the usual shows, Wednesday night, Wild Card, and, of course, the wonderful Clubhouse. all 9 p.m. Central Standard Time over here. And then on Friday nights, of course, I'm over there with the Friday Night Comic Shop guys. Next Friday night at 8:30 Central, Nick is celebrating his 100th comic shop talk show with the boys and myself. So we're looking forward to that. And now for some shout outs. And the way we like to do it up in you, as you all know, is I like to call out our wrenches first, whether they're here or not, to get the shout out. Our wrenches who are here throughout the week with me and stuff, usually. So there's, of course, again, the aforementioned great Bronze Wrencher. We love you, brother, if you're out there, if you happen to be listening. EK, man, look, just get well soon, buddy.
Yep.
Indeed, indeed. Of
Really
course,
love you. Sending soft hugs. I love you very much, honey.
you're the man, sir. And we're all counting on you. Chris Persia, the Vindicator Wrench of the North. Chris, brother, thank you so much for all you do.
And thank you for the beautiful show poster and for shouting us out and putting us on all your socials. I saw that Eric was doing that again today, despite being under the weather. And I just really appreciate you both so much. Thank you so much, Chris.
Well, appreciate that. Thank you. And the great D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron, Mr. Tuska. Thank you, buddy.
Resident mathematician. Take all your math to D. Bud Martin.
The great Lord Thoth. Avon lives, long live the Legion, buddy. And shout out to the lovely Lady Thoth and the little puppy. Buddy, always great to see you, my friend. Take care. It's always great. I'm just so glad to see you here, bud. My partner in crime on Earth B, fellow Legionnaire reviewer extraordinaire, and Wrench Without Fear, J-Man. Always. Yeah. He had to run.
Please support J-Man. He's an author. His wife is an award-winning poet. He has a wonderful YouTube channel, but he's also selling books. And many of you have expressed a desire to buy non-corporate creative things. And so if you really like horror, or if you love poetry, award-winning poetry, hop on over to J-Man. His name is Jason, and you will get the URL from him to go and explore his writing on Amazon, and I know he'll appreciate it.
Sorry, I was muted. That's right. Creator of the Clubboni, Master Artist Supreme Club, Hungry Boy, HB.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Stephen Cal L, the Supreme Wrench Super Wrench Supreme. I got that all confused. Real soup. Sorry about that, buddy. I got all messed up there. Maddie's daddy, real to the reach Mjolnir, Thor in Vegas, brother. Hope you're doing well.
Evening.
That old rascal, Fanty Outsidey. Hey, buddy. And of course, our very own Music Meister, Max Redstone. All right. And thank you all so much. And I will say that with us here this evening is the puppers here, along with our wonderful friend,
I saw that.
Apollome's Minion.
And the pepperoni.
I don't know if that worked. But I don't know if that worked or not.
So funny.
Yeah, sorry, everyone. That did not really do it.
Okay.
All right. So let's do some shouty outies here. Try to get everybody in here.
Wait. Sorry, I have to interrupt again. You can send me shin kicks. Sorry, boss, but Maddie's daddy, our friend Steve M, is asking for the Steve song, which is just Kids in the Hall, changed from the terrible singing of These Are the Daves I Know, to the awful rendition, equally as troubling as the Kids in the Hall version.
No.
These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know.
Nice. No, they love it. We love it. We love it. So here we go. Also with us tonight, of course. Hang on one second. Let's see here. Let me I had to clear up. All right.
You know that's not good singing, but it's not supposed to be good singing.
I love it. No, they love it.
Steve M.
They love it. Are you kidding me? They love it.
The original,
Why
he
do you think
sings
they
it
want you to do
poorly on purpose, and it's quite hysterical.
That's just
On
your
Kids in the
excuse.
Hall.
Everyone loves when you do it. So there. Where are we at? Okay. Anyway, FKHC 2005.
Good evening.
Hello there, buddy. He is also known as. Wait for it. Let me find him again.
I don't know.
Where'd I put him?
I don't know.
Oh, North Fairfax Kangaroos, buddy.
Wow.
Sorry about being late, bud. Anyway, thank you for being here. And let's see here. Joseph Dredd, the judge. What's up, Judge?
Good evening.
Here comes the judge. King
Here
Dolphin
comes the
TV.
judge. Ding, 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 ding. Here comes the judge, and I say,
You're agonizing. You're agonizing. No, actually, it was very good. We liked it. I don't know where I am now. I'll go. Oh, here we go. I got it. King Dolphin TV.
King Dolphin TV.
In color. What's up, Raymond? And of course, your better half, the wonderful Sandra Feliciano. Hey, Sandra.
Dun, 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 dun.
Shooter buddy.
Pew, 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 pew.
I have to turn my headpiece down for that one. J.T. Kirk was a man, was a big man. Well, and I like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he.
J.T. Kirk.
That too. I need that cleared. I have to clear again. Mr. Angel, what's up, Chef?
Chef.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see here. Parker Luck. I can't remember the whole name. I had to write that down quickly, but Parker Luck, hello there.
It's a long one.
I hope you don't mind me shorting that, my friend. No disrespect is intended. Let's see here. Simply Steve.
Good evening, my fine friend. Nice to see you.
The lovely Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Lisa.
By the way, I should always say,
What?
Big shout out to everyone out there who is lurking.
Oh, yes.
I'm lucky when I remember that, but I do thank you so much with you lurk. We love you lurkers. Thank you so much. And anyone listening on a download or watching, whatever the case may be, download or a rewatch. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Classic Comics. What's up, CC?
CC.
Let's see here. Where we at? Hang on. Enigmatic Drop Bear. What is up, BDB?
Good to see you. Looking forward to your reviews this evening. Fine, sir.
Captain Infinity and Beyond.
Captain Infinity and Beyond.
Yes, indeed, sir. Good to see you, buddy. Zatras.
Crap. Crap. Crap.
Sean Carter.
Sean Carter from Mars.
And they call him Scuba Pete. He's the king of the Ramba Beat when he plays the maracas. He goes chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom.
Scuba Pete. And Leslie.
Matt G. Hey, Matt.
Matt G.
Not Amanda Bear.
Nirada Naxamanda Bear's here. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. All right. Rob Altus, my friend. Good to see you.
Rob.
Dave G. Sound.
Dave G. Sound. Not just another body of water.
Smilex. I don't believe I've seen you here before. Smilex, welcome. And are you like Joker? Are you Joker Venom or what? Smilex. I mean, that's what I think of when I think of Smilex, but it could be something else. But anyway, welcome, Smilex.
Minimus.
Minimus Prime is here.
Yeah, look at what he put in the chat.
You guess what? As far as I know, be correct. He is. Oh, you are Smilex. Excellent. Smilex, as you would say. We're going to take him out a whole new door. All right. Okie dokie then, friends. Uh-oh, he don't look happy. He's been using Brand X. Is that what you... Yeah. Anyway, quoting from that movie. He'll get me. He'll know what I'm doing. All right. Well, I guess we should probably get around to doing some Star Trek reviews since we've been around, sitting around and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there we go, folks. As you all know. Hey, Larry. Look at Larry.
A man so kind and wonderful You say his name twice, but you ought to say it thrice. Larry,
Yes,
Larry,
buddy.
Larry! Hi, sweetheart.
For those unaware who might be new here, well, what we do on Saturday Night Star Trek and have been doing since week 1 of 2021 is we have embarked upon the dangerous mission of reviewing all of real deal Star Trek, 1966 through 2005, the only Star Trek that is real deal Star Trek. That is, of course, we started with the original series, then went to the animated series, original crew films, TNG, Next Generation, and then the Next Generation films. And now we have just finished reviewing seasons 1 through 6 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And tonight we embark upon the final season. We begin season 7 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We have a reference guide that we use, although we don't use this for the synopses. It's what we refer people to when they want to know a little bit more, called Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion. And what I do now, as is always on Saturday nights, I will turn the floor over to my wonderful first officer. She will tell us a little bit about the source. And, of course, we will begin with a review of the 4 episodes that we do each week. And she'll tell you a little about synopsize the episode. This was not a word. I just made it up. And I'm proud of myself for making up words, because someone once said to me, all words are made up. And that was in a movie once. Anyway, so we'll do that, and we'll get going. So, number 1, you have the
Thank you so much, boss. So we can't use this text on air. The boss is right. And that's because the coverage is just far too lengthy. But the coverage is pretty much the only coverage that you should turn to if you want information on Deep Space Nine. Please do not go to the cesspool known as IMDb or the filth-infested poopy diaperville known as Memory Alpha. And Wikipedia is just as crappy. And the reason being is they've spent years and years and years with this user-generated content, people misquoting, people only saying things from certain, hopeful memoirs and things like that. And basically what it's done is it's created a din in the fandom that is filled with stuff that's just not true. So you're not going to see people here in our chat filling up the chat with all of this trivia from IMDb and stuff like that, because they know it's not accurate most of the time. So if you're looking for information on DS9, you want to build your trivia, you want to build your knowledge, you want to know more, turn to Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion, written by Terry J. Erdman and a wonderful woman named Paula M. Block. She is a prolific Star Trek author, and her modus operandi, her method of operation, is using original source material. And she uses original source material from everywhere. So it's actors and actresses and producers and directors and folks who were working on set and the whole package that surrounds Star Trek. So that's your source. But what we're going to do, just because this is a podcast and that it has to be brief, we're going to use the summary from Wikipedia. Okay. But that's just a launching off point. And if it's incorrect and poorly written, we will correct it together, which we all find rather amusing. And then we'll discuss the episodes. I should let everyone in the room now know, if you're new around here, this is a completely organic show. Clubby and I don't pre-read anything that we're going to be reading this evening. We don't discuss the episodes. We don't cultivate each other's opinions on the episodes, and nor does anyone in the chat. We all come here with our own independent thoughts after having watched the episodes, and we discuss them, and we put them up on the marquee. And I got to tell you, folks, it is great fun. We grade, we laugh, we cry, we have a wonderful time.
Yep. So, yes, are we ready for our... And by the way, hello, Captain James C. Skywalker. Welcome, buddy. And welcome, MMM's here. Masters Maniac Mexico,
Oh,
buddy.
hi, sweetheart.
Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. So, are we ready for our first episode of the evening?
We are. The first of 4, Captain, is Image in the Sand.
All righty.
This is season 7, episode 1. If that doesn't line up with your streaming services, that's okay. This is an international show, and we acknowledge that due to the nature of DS9, these multi-part episodes and the way that they're broken up, it might not match up, but that's okay. Don't worry, don't panic. If you're following along in the book, it's prod code 551. 551. And we all watched this, unfortunately, for the very first time on September 28th, 1998. I would just like to say now that I have been continually watching this since September 28th, 1998, and I'm not proud. From Wikipedia. On Deep Space Nine, Kira has recently been promoted to the rank of Colonel. A cult worshipping the Pa race is gaining strength in reaction to the closing of the wormhole. Meanwhile, the Romulan Empire establishes a delegation on the station led by one Senator Kretak. Kretak asks Kira to petition the Bajoran government to allow the Romulans to set up a hospital on an uninhabited moon, of is it Derna? I don't know. My arms aren't long enough for my eyes these days. I'm middle-aged, folks. Later, Security Chief Odo reports the Romulan hospital is turning away wounded Starfleet personnel and appears to be heavily armed. Kira demands that the weapons be removed immediately, but Kretak refuses. Worf is frustrated that the USS Defiant is assigned to nothing more dangerous than escorting cargo runs. He confides in Chief O'Brien that he is worried that Jadzia will not get into Klingon heaven, Sto-vo-kor, because she didn't die in battle. The only way to ensure her place in Sto-vo-kor is by winning a glorious battle in her name. General Martok recruits Worf to join a dangerous mission that will ensure Jadzia's place in Sto-vo-kor. O'Brien and Bashir decide to accompany him. So does Quark. Meanwhile, Benjamin Sisko is taking extended leave on Earth. He separates himself from his family, doing nothing but playing piano in his father's restaurant. His son Jake is worried about his father's attitude. Benjamin experiences a vision from the prophets. He sees himself digging frantically in the sand on the planet of Tyre and uncovers the face of a woman whom he does not recognize. Joseph eventually reveals that the face belongs to Benjamin's biological mother, Sarah, who abandoned the family when Benjamin was a year old and later died. Boy, that's a poorly written sentence. So she abandoned the family when Benjamin was a year old, and then later she died. Reggie?
Hey, John. John Robust. Reggie.
Joseph gives Benjamin a necklace of Sarah's, which conveniently has ancient Bajoran writing on it that reads, Orb of the Emissary. Benjamin decides to travel to Tyre to search for this orb. The next night, he is attacked by a member of the Pa Wraith cult, attempting to prevent him from finding the orb. After he heals, Joseph and Jake decide to go to Tyre with him. As they are about to leave, a young Starfleet ensign, a Trill who Benjamin does not recognize, arrives and introduces herself as Dax.
Whoa.
So that's all Wikipedia has to say about Image in the Sand. It's not a great synopsis. It's not a wonderful summary, but it gives those who didn't have a chance to watch the episode, a refresher so that they can participate in the conversation. And that's what those summaries are for, folks. They're for you, in case you didn't have time to watch the episode. So I'm going to turn it over to the boss now. Captain, my captain, mon capitaine, please tell me, what did you think of Image in the...
You're killing me. Oh, I love when you do that. I can't breathe.
Sorry, boss.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. The thing I despise the most. Well, first of all, there's nothing anyone else could do about losing Jadzia, but it still sucks and it stings and I hate it. And that was no one's. I don't know. I'm not gonna get back to that old argument, but it's a shame we had to lose her. So I'm still stinging from that when, Sisko Look, characters have to have certain types of flaws and stuff like that. I get it. He wants to go back and piddle around at his daddy's place because that gives us a chance to see Brock Peters again, and it's always terrific to see Mr. Cisco. I like his father. I like the actor.
Yeah,
I like
do
that
as well.
stuff. I like when we go back to the restaurant. I do like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I like him. I like that. The likable things about the episode are that when he and Jake are with this father. Even some of the stuff back on the station with Kira and the Romulans, and also because again we've established a long time ago this is a space war intrigue show, drama show more than the science fiction. So at least be good at it. Some of that stuff I like. Even some of the stuff with Worf worrying about Jadzia and the all and Bashir and Quark and O'Brien. Some of that kind of stuff I actually found entertaining about the episode. But what I can't stand is this crap. Hey, Claude Sally. This crap about his mother having to the prophets. Basically, he was. I don't know what you want to call it. He was created by the prophets or birthed by the prophet, whatever, however you want to word it. I don't like it. That your story with the prophets, I've never been that fond of, anyway, as you know.
Yep.
But that's too far. If you're gonna keep, the prophets are there. If you watch Deep Space Nine and you don't want the prophets, then don't watch Deep Space Nine. So they're there. It's one thing. I get it, and I've liked some episodes of the show, and I like the show in a lot of ways. But this is too far. I can't stand it. I hate that element that they added. DJ Ronnie G's here.
DJ Ronnie G.
What's up, buddy? Good hanging out with you the other night, man, at the member stream. So I don't like that. That's the thing I dislike the most about the episode. Some of the stuff is just as a character drama episode. With some of that stuff was fine. Cisco himself being all, I don't know, all broody and stuff in the episode. That's something you see in a lot of TV, so it's kind of old. But all right, whatever. But that bit, the thing I dislike the most about the episode that changed the episode for me is that crap with the prophets. And maybe some of you disagree. Maybe you think it's fine. I just couldn't get into that aspect of it at all. I don't like it. And and by the way, Cisco should be able to kick that guy's ass. He should be able to guts him like a pig. Cisco's a fighter. Then he lets that little wimp. I know the guy had a blade and all, but you're Cisco, man.
Yeah, but come on. He also looked like he could have been carried away by monkeys.
Right. With the little he's so little and stuff.
He's very, yes.
Yeah, that shrimp should not be able to get the drop on Cisco, even with a weapon. I know Cisco wasn't himself, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You just, make it like, if you're going to write it, maybe like a bunch of guys jumping him or something. And he gets injured, fine. Mm-hmm. One little twerp like that taking Cisco, nah. No. Kirk wouldn't get taken by one little punk like that. Yeah. So that was crappy, but that's me being that's a macho thing for me. Anyway, so overall, I'm not particularly fond of the episode for a lot of those reasons. I would like to get your notes now.
Okay. So yeah, here are my notes. If you're wondering what the captain's talking about and you're new around here, I've been watching Star Trek for over 45 years. I begin watching it in chronological order on January 1st of every year. And so I was thinking to myself when Clobby said, we're going to do this show together. I thought, what should I do? How can I add to this? So I take notes while I'm rewatching. So they're just points of discussion. Sometimes they're things I know that are true and things like that. So these are those notes.
And Sander Hammerslag, welcome.
Oh, hello. Hi, Sander.
Good to see you.
So pencil and paper. This is what I have written down. Kira is Colonel Emo Hair. I'm going to call her Colonel Emo Hair for the rest of this, whatever you want to call this. Also, I need to ask the chat because I'm building a deck right now with my husband, and I didn't have time to look into this. Now, I'm an academic, and my areas of expertise are writing and literature and communication theory and comms and tech. So I don't know about this stuff, and I'm not being facetious. I'm being very respectful right now. I need to ask, is going from a major to a colonel something that is usual Is that a big jump? Is that a typical jump? What's going on with that? And if you could put that in the chat, I would be most grateful.
I don't know. By the way, I could only think of one other colonel in Star Trek, and that was Colonel West in Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
So, but she's not in Starfleet.
She's not in Starfleet.
So maybe that's something for Bajorans. I don't know.
Masters Maniac Mexico, I love you. These are the notes I know. These are the notes I know. I love you. Okay, so now I'm going to do something here that's kind of academic, and it might annoy some people, but it's just, I got to show you this, okay?
Oh, you know what? That might be true, Enigmatic Drop Bear. If it's so, I apologize. It says the Immaculate Reception. It was in the next one. I apologize. I jumped the gun, but go ahead. Hey, lovely Sherry.
Good evening, lovely Sherry. Yeah, Enigmatic Drop Bear, I noticed that as well. I'm going to talk about the
everyone.
Immaculate Conception in my notes in the next episode. But
I'm so sorry. That's how true I don't pay attention. I'm sorry.
JT Kirk says, Raquel, going from a major in most Western militaries would be promoted to a lieutenant or lieutenant colonel. You would still call her a colonel, but that's an odd jump without the middle rank. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So thank you, JT Kirk.
Good to see you, Sherry, by the way. Thank you, JT. Well, there you go.
Oh, and Sean put something up as well. Sean said major, lieutenant, colonel, full colonel.
Okay.
Okay. And then Raymond Feliciano is in the military, and so is Sandra, his wife. And he says that is a normal progression from major to lieutenant colonel. Okay.
Okay.
She's a full colonel, though.
Good.
Okay. So now I'm going to do something that's going to annoy some people. I don't care. I'm sorry. Just, saddle up. Lock and load. Romulans on the station. Take out your finger. Story 1 is Kretek. Damar is a drunk and has growing addiction issues. Put up a second finger. Story 2. Cisco and the Sand Lady is story 3. But there's also the side story of finding out that he is truly the Messiah and that his father's been lying to him his whole life. So that's a very deep story, story 3. Worf grieving and getting Jadzia Dax into Stovacor is story 4.
4. There are 4 stories.
4 stories.
I know. That's really...
Hey, Keely Chow.
Hey, Keely Chow, roll tide. That's a stretch, though. You're right. That's another problem.
I mean, if you take away the commercials, what are we talking about here? Under 40 minutes? What are we talking about here?
At least it's multi-part story, but you're right.
It's just ridiculous. You can't attach yourself to one story and you can't flesh it out, because even with the full 40 minutes, and I don't think it is 40 minutes, I think it's fewer than 40 minutes because I always watch the intro. I never cut the intro off because I enjoy that sort of entertainment. So you're talking under 40 minutes, 4 stories a piece. So you're talking under 10 minutes to flesh out these complex stories. So it's a lot. And it's unprofessional and it's unenjoyable.
Yeah.
And then I love Kimara Kretek. I think that Megan Nicole is an absolutely marvelous Romulan. I love what she brings to the Romulan canon. I love her behavior. And I also love the fact that her duplicitousness, her duplicity, and her villainous nature is not of the mustache twirling variety. This is a complex, duplicitous character. You're not sure if she's being sincere or not. And that's accomplishing a lot for a television show, and certainly meeting this woman for the very first time. And all that thanks goes to Megan Cole for, creating this Kimara Kretek character, one of the best Romulans in all of Star Trek, and due entirely to her. Now, do you still have your hand up, folks? 4 stories. Then we have the Ezri Dax story. Okay, so there are 5 stories in under 40 minutes in this episode. This is some of the worst writing by Ira Stephen Bear and Hans. I'm not sure which country he hails from, Beamer or B. Meyer, depending upon what country he's from. Just absolutely atrocious writing, and asking the viewer to imbibe, to consume 5 stories that are this in depth in fewer than 40 minutes is ridiculous. And what's worse is that nothing happens in this episode. Okay, this is a nothing burger, as the cool kids in America say, and I think it's a wonderful saying. Oh, look, a burger. Oh, it's a nothing burger. Nothing happens here. It's just a pure setup episode. So without that, there's no drama. There's no intrigue. There's no suspense. There's no problems to solve. There's no resolution. There's no. It's just the whole story falls apart. It just turns into garble. It's like somebody walking up to you and saying, "Isn't this a lovely picture?" and then throwing like a 5,000 piece puzzle at you, and it just drops in front of you on the table. Oh yeah, it's a nice picture. Anyways, this is a lot. 5 stories in under 40 minutes, and they all suck, with the exception of Megan Cole as Kimara Kretak. So.
Wow. Nicely done. Yeah, that's a good point. See, I thought I was undercounting. I was like, when I was watching that episode, I was thinking maybe there are 4 stories going on here, but no, you're 5. You're right. I mean, of course, it's stretched over, what, 3 episodes? But it's still ridiculous.
Lisai.
No, I hear you. Hello there, Michael Beacom. What's up, buddy?
Michael Beacom.
Yeah, shout out to Cassandra.
Yes, please tell her that I said hello.
So, yeah, because of that, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a big mess. So it's almost like it's a rating 1. Hello, Jill. Jill.
Hello.
Hey, Jill. It's yeah, I don't know how you clean up that mess either. So
yeah, it's
doing
just
rating
too much.
Individually is difficult.
Yeah, it's really amateur. It's really unprofessional, and it's really just sort of like garbage. You know, it's just like you don't know what to make for supper, so you just stand in front of the fridge, taking one bite out of everything in the fridge. It's a bizarre way to eat dinner. It's
hey,
oh, PJ.
PJ.
Hi, sweetheart.
Long time no see, Kimasabi. I hope you were doing well.
Nice to see you.
I hope you. It's really great to hear from you, though, PJ. Thank you so much for the super sticker, buddy. I hope you were doing well.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you like storytelling to sort of be like that unsatisfying experience at midnight when you're starving and you go to the fridge and you have 5 different bites from things you don't want to eat because you didn't have supper, it's for me it's unappealing. You didn't go to bed happy or full.
Oh God, I gotta drop something. I have an emergency here. I dropped something, folks. Sorry. All right, drop my phone. All right. Okay, sorry. Sorry. All right, everybody. Well, there you go. I guess I will ask you now what is your rating of Image in the Sand?
You know, I'm trying to be as kind as I possibly can to DS9. We're winding down. I try to be as kind as I possibly can be with Star Trek because I love Star Trek. I am dyed in the bones Trekkie pretty much from birth. Well, not really, but a kid to now. And so don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Star Trek, but it's just the quality in Star Trek is centrifugal until you get to Ent, which is, I think it's the start of something genuine and beautiful. And this is just not good. And pretending that it's good does a disservice to everyone, because it will mean that they won't believe me when I tell them to watch an episode that's an A+. And there are plenty of those. And this isn't one of them. This is complete and utter, and it's a D.
J. Picasso. Hang on. Don't anyone give you ratings yet. I know you already did, Shooter, but everyone wait a second so we can
Monkey
get
G-Bus!
so we can catch a Monkey G-Bus. What's up, buddy?
Midnight's Oblivion.
Oh, Midnight's Oblivion's here.
He just walked through the door.
Good to see you, Midnight. Okay, I'm trying to get it, buddy.
You get them written down, and I'll get on. I'll get
written
on
down,
these
Midnight.
stars.
Okay, well, nope, we're not ready yet. I didn't hate it as much as you did. I thought there were some things in there I kind of liked, so I'm a little more lenient. I give it a C. I mean, I got to get pissed off before I give it any kind of a rough. I thought I absolutely do not disagree with anything you said as far as that stuff goes, but I've been last season I was seeing episodes that were infuriating me, that were aggravating, that were hating. This one's just a big crazy mess, but it does continue into other episodes. Nothing's resolved here, so
nothing starts and nothing
it's the foundation. Yeah,
and so it's a pain in the butt.
I hear you there. So I just basically gave it a C. Now let us and now everyone, please send your reviews. Any ranking or rating that you have, and any words you may have about the episode, image, and the sound. Let's see. Well, we're writing stuff down here. All right, where we at? Okay, so I guess we got a couple.
Monkey Jeebus says centrifugal is inertia. I'm actually referring to centrifugal as in moving or directed away from the center or away from the axis, and that being TOS as being the best. I hope that clears that up for you.
Oakley, absolutely. All right, so let's see what we have here. All right, Shooter, good to see you back, Shooter. Hey, buddy, let's see, says C-. 7, dude. Wow. The limit, we try to keep it down to the 5 or 6 range, but because it's you, buddy, because it's you. I'm teasing him, of course. I am. Well, we do like to keep it lower if we can, but he's got a lot to say, I guess. Kira is promoted to 0 fanfare. Boo. Boo. The new hairdo was interesting, though. I didn't even really pay much attention to it, to be honest. I can't even see it in my head right now. So, I guess there was one, right? Let's see. Despite Cisco's absence, DS9 seems to still be turning. Is Kira the same rank as Cisco now? Naval versus Army ranks? I don't know. Please, no one go into that. We've got enough problems around here as it is. Just kidding. Bajor is not part of the Federation. How can Admiral Ross decide to stick a Romulan facility on their moon without consultation, permission? Yeah, I do like the Romulan commander, though. That's a very good point. Thank you, Shooter.
It's true. It's true. You're thinking about that the whole time, and then you think to yourself, it's hard to make excuses for that.
Yeah. Avery Brooks is a musician. Nice to see him tickling the ivory. A quest to find answers and free the gods, an evil cult. Yeah, we are in the fantasy zone now. Yes, sir. How was Cisco allowed to take 3 months off to scrub clams during the middle of a war? And an experienced and a successful captain pulled off the front line. Nope, don't buy it. That's another very good point. You always make good points, Shooter. I hear you on FM, sir. So the prophets have been affecting the war. This in spite they're focused on Bajor, whose participation in the war is minimal. Yep, definitely in the fantasy zone. Another good point.
Yeah,
always making the good points. We can find your next one, buddy. Oh, there we go. Jadzia's favorite song is a human classic. Are there no Trill songs? Oh, and Worf is angry, and you wouldn't like him when he's angry. Worf smash, yes.
Yeah, and here it's really important to not think that Shooter is nitpicking, because he's not.
No.
Shooter is a real science fiction fan, and I know what he's referring to because I know this individual. He follows me on Patreon and he reads my stories. What he's referring to is what I talk a lot about as well, and that is the lost opportunities to create more lore, to enhance characters by, bringing in a trill song. And so it's a lost opportunity, not a nitpick, and I love that review, Shooter. Thank you for that.
Just an old-fashioned trill song. All right. Where were I?
That was a good one, Clobby.
I don't know what happened.
That was really good.
Cisco's mom is not his mom. A daytime TV go on. God, I hate that.
Yeah.
I want to lessen my rating just because of that.
Yeah.
Enter Esri. I won't. No comment. Cute as a button. Yes, I do love her. I mean, I love Jazia too, but I kind of Nicole. They're two different kinds of loveliness. All in all, the episode does what it needs to in setting up the season and the next episode. Yes, indeed, Shooter. All righty then. Midnight's Oblivion says C minus. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It's a C minus. Sorry. Gotcha. Monsters Maniac Mexico says, I agree that the summary was bad, but how the dang you would summarize something like that.
Yeah.
I know I get more and more unforgiving in the review, but it's a D with no C minus, maybe writer's boycott.
Yeah. Yep. Well said all the way around. You're feeling the same way I'm feeling. It's just like you have like raspberry fatigue. It's like, give us something good. Throw us a bone. Like we're eager and we're enthusiastic. We're loving fans. Give us something good.
Indeedishness. Raymond Feliciano says, A, finding more about Cisco. I agree. I mean, does that mean his rating is A? It says A finding. I guess it is A. Finding more about Cisco. I agree that the twerp should not have had the jump on Ben. Romulans are the quintessential villains. Okay. So that is, I guess it means that was just the A was his rating. I just want to be sure. Mr. Angel says W. From what the heck sort of writer's room brain meltdown did I watch?
Yep.
Enough said about this episode. Fire Clubboni torpedoes and next, please.
You better fire up the Clubboni for Chef.
Oh, run.
There you go. For you, Chef. Only for you. Simply Steve says D minus. Real title, I'm a digging the sand. Bad mother abandons year old Ben.
Yeah.
Year old Ben. Young Ben, I guess. Yet Music Man Benji performing at Daddy's.
Yeah.
No better by spreading from Jake. Worf wanting non-Klingon Kling Jadzia and Stavakar, no way. Okie dokie, buddy. Thank you.
I see you. I hear you.
Mr. Angel has another one. I guess he got in there twice. Same one, though, right?
Oh, no. Or maybe it went in there twice. That happens sometimes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Lord Thoth says D. The story makes no sense to me. A lot of conflict in story and canon.
Yes.
That gives me a headache. I need a drink. It's a fair cup.
What are you having tonight? Are you having a glass of wine? I bet you it's a glass of wine.
Jill says C. I've never been very interested in the prophets because Starfleet isn't interested in learning about this very mysterious species, despite how important they are to Bajor.
Yeah, I was talking about that last week. That's a very good point. I spoke about that at length last week and the week before. Where is the hunger in Starfleet to explore this relationship with these omnipotent beings that control space and time and have no
point.
corporeal form. One would think Starfleet would be champing at the bit to learn more about the wormhole aliens, and yet, according to the Admiral, no. This is weird.
Indeed. Brock Peters continues his incredible performance as a father who's there for Sisko while facing a terrible heartache. He's buried. The prophets meddle in romances like Greek gods. Yeah, yep. While the Romulans subversive intentions aren't surprising, having one of my favorite Trek tropes of enemies turned allies cooperating be subversive as well was disappointing. Sorry, Jill, I was all over the place. Even worse than this is the absurd idea that the Federation wouldn't direct Starfleet to respect the wishes of a non-Federation world and use those grounds to evict the Romulans. Yes, I agree. A little out of line there, wasn't it? JT Kirk says, NCC 1701D. The best thing about this episode is the meme potential of Sisko's prophet mama face in the sand. If you've watched this one has the benefit of never needing to watch it again. First of all, why would the prophets? First of all, remember in the first episodes they didn't even understand what kind of beings we were.
Yes.
They didn't know what Sisko was. They didn't know what humans were. They didn't understand linear time.
Yes.
I find it a little silly that they would know enough to go back or to go to Sisko's father and pretend to be a human,
yes.
and just to give, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I talked about this last week and the week before. This is something that I cannot forgive, and it's why I'm giving such crappy ratings. It's because, like I said in my notes before, when you have these drama writers, they reach for human drama. They don't reach for science. And if they reached for science, this would be so much more interesting. And instead, they reach for religion. And I'm agnostic, which is not atheist. I'm agnostic, which means that I cannot say that I know about that which is unknowable. So I mean, no disrespect, but it's just, if it's going to be religious, it's going to be a different genre. It's not science fiction. It becomes supernatural. It becomes religious. It becomes, commentary in that way, and it becomes fantasy, especially when they're parlaying it into horror, and they've admitted that in the text, in the verified text. So yeah, I totally get you, Clobby. I just don't understand it. We have so much opportunity to massage this into a very, very terrifying scientific story, and yet we just keep falling back on religion over and over and over again, and it's tiring.
Yeah, I it was obviously it was retro. Actually, it was retro stuff. It was like they were retconning in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Where we have? The best thing about this episode is the meme potential Sisko's. I thought we already got that one.
You already read that one.
Yeah, got on there twice again.
Oh, maybe there's a glitch in the system tonight. I just wanted to say thank you to JT Kirk for giving the NCC 1701D rating. You're making me think of our friend Ace Cast Iron. Ace Cast Iron, if you're out there, buddy, we're thinking about you. Heck of a nice guy, Ace Cast Iron.
Thank you, JT. And thank you for what you said there. All right. The great Kal-El Steve says B+. This episode was a decent opening for the seventh and final season, allowing the audience to catch up with the principal characters of the show, as well as introduction of a new Dax. Let's see here. In that sense, this episode tells a good story, but its only real purpose is to set up for the payoff, which will occur in the second part of the overall story, putting aside the fact that DS9 has become mostly science fantasy and no longer science fiction.
That's right.
At this point, in the series. This episode was just entertaining enough to keep me interested to find out what would happen next.
Yep.
It's a fair cup. And how the many plot threads would ultimately be resolved. An overall good episode if watched with the expectations now set forth by the remainder of the series.
Yep.
Well, there you go, sir. Thank you so much.
I really love his diplomacy and his naked honesty. He's saying, look, I love Star Trek. I want this episode to work, but even I admit its flaws. And such honesty, naked honesty in your reviews make the reviews that much better, because it shows that you're capable of sort of synthesizing what you're watching and figuring out the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I appreciate these dynamic reviews. They're terrific.
Sandra Feliciano says, "See, it was busy and more fantasy than sci-fi, but it did give hints of what is coming. I don't like multi-part stories. The Federation overstepped its authority and got away with it again."
Yeah.
I added the again to that, but I hear you, Sandra.
Yes.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate that. Larry, could the writers be running dry? Could
Yep.
they? The great enigmatic Drop Bear says, D+. This episode was heavy on exposition.
Yes.
It's as though the showrunners decided to reset various story and character arcs to take the show in a different direction. It's quite disconcerting.
Yes.
This ostensible reset continues the show's move towards the mystical and dramatic and away from science fiction and Roddenberry's ethos.
Yes.
It is a shame that the show went in this direction.
Yes, and I just want to pause on this for 1 second, because I just want to say this. This is why Gene Roddenberry was against this, and Gene Roddenberry spoke right before he died about arguing with Michael Piller about this. Because if you start to muck about in these subjects, you have to be careful of what you're doing. And I just want to point one thing out as an agnostic here, and also somebody from communications, studying comm theory and semiology. If we are going to mess about with religion, it's not very respectful to have a very devout species existing on a planet, and the minute that the wormhole closes up, they begin believing in and worshiping in the quote-unquote devil. So it's very clear in the writing of DS9 that the Pa race are widely understood to be the quote-unquote devil. They're demons, they're evil, they're bad. And so it's admitted by the writers, and obviously it's admitted within story, that the minute that wormhole collapses, everyone on Bajor loses their virtues. They lose their goodness, and they just suddenly want to throw themselves into worshiping demons and devils because they've quote unquote been abandoned by their good gods. So this is why Gene Roddenberry didn't want to do stuff like this. It's better to keep it more science fiction, to not start getting in on religion and making fun of religion and making these very subtle digs that some people can see and others can't, and therein creating a controversy that would repel the viewer. And this is basically what, I'm paraphrasing you, this is basically what Gene Roddenberry said. So I love that you said this. I love it. Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
Figure out where I was. Okay, I think it's this, sir. ED continues. The Romulan machinations were a worthwhile development. It is easy to believe that the Romulans would have one eye on the present and one eye on a post-Dominion War future. Yes. Thank you so much, ED. Appreciate you. Midnight's Oblivion says, this show is overall great, but it gets really woo-woo towards the end.
Thank you, Midnight's Oblivion.
Thank you, Midnight's Oblivion. Smilex, our new friend, says, so I've always wanted to know, the captains on these starships need to sleep. Who takes over when McCoy, Scotty, and Kirk are in bed?
Okay, so Smilex, When we first start off with a smaller crew, you have to think more like NASA. Somebody would be awake and
Not a
on
review.
watch, and they would awaken everyone else if something bad happened. When we look to the 23rd century, and we see McCoy, we see Scotty, we see Kirk, what's happening is that there is a second shift, and that second shift would wake the captain, I mean. And so there would be people on watch. When we're talking about TNG, and we're talking about a ship that has 1,000 and I believe 13 or 1,016 people that can balloon to around 1,300 if they have to rescue people, there are obviously multiple shifts. And there are several episodes that discuss whether or not they should have 2 shifts, 3 shifts, 4 shifts, and even 5 shifts to keep people fresh. But certainly if something really bad happens, they call the captain.
Masters Maniac Mexico, thank you for the super chat. My friend, he says simply thanks for all you. No, thank you for being here, and you are too kind, very generous of you for that. Mexican 25. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Great reviews tonight too, Triple M.
Good, always good to see you, Eminem. Sean Carter says D for me, but I love this any scene with Brock Peters. I agree. He's great. The wonderful Lisa says C. Cisco learning about his mom now. To honor the relationship with stepmom, maybe Romulan setting up shop on Bajor Moon. Maybe Jadzia mini-me roll out. Maybe, not a maybe, it is the final season. A. Okay. So it's a C. Not a maybe, it's the final season. A. Okay.
I think what she's trying to say is we're almost done. I think she's pretty excited for them to get through DS9 now.
I could be.
We love you, Lisa.
Fanti is nothing says Star Trek like waiting for space aliens to give you visions of how next to proceed. Shouldn't having visions require a command officer to undergo medical review?
I said that before. Yeah, I've said that before. It's just ridiculous. He would be in a rubber room. And
he was sort of, well, later.
Yeah.
D for Scuba Pete, something like America's horse with no name. Cisco dug in the desert to find a face with no name. It felt good to be on Earth again. So, in the desert, Paraith knew his name because they kicked his ass over in Orban again. Blah, 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 blah. This episode sucks.
Oh my God, Scuba Pete, so good.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Is Wolfie here?
Lisa has confirmed that she gave an A because she can't wait for it to be over. And
okay, Wolfie, what's up, buddy? Always good to see you, bud. All righty then. Let's see here. Are we ready to move on to the next episode?
Yes, boss. Just let me bring that up.
All righty.
I mean,
it is Shadows and Symbols and Thimbles. There we go.
Shadows and Symbols is season 7, episode 2. This is production code 552. We all watched this since October. We all first started watching this on October 5th, 1998. I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia. It's probably going to suck. Don't worry. We'll get through it together.
Nobody minds.
The Ciscos are surprised by the young woman introducing herself as Esri Dax, explaining she was the only unjoined Trill aboard the starship transporting the injured Dax symbiote back to Trill when it needed to be implanted immediately to survive. That's quite the sentence. Benjamin Cisco invites Esri to join him, his father Joseph, and his son Jake as they travel to Tyree to seek the orb of the emissary. Back on Deep Space Nine, Kira prepares a blockade to stop the Romulans from arming the weapons they have placed on Derna. Worf is joined by Jadzia's friends Miles O'Brien, Julian Bashir, and Quark on a mission led by the Klingon General Martok to destroy a Dominion shipyard in Jadzia's name. Therein getting her into Stovacor. They need to do something heroic. The Ciscos and Esri arrive on Tyree. Oh, my noisy neighbor. Oh,
no problem.
he's
No,
leaving.
no biggie.
The Siskos and Ezri arrive on Tyree, guided by his visions. They begin a long trek across the desert. Eventually, Benjamin stops and digs on a seeming whim while his father, son, and Ezri can only watch. He eventually unearths the orb ark, but hesitates from opening it. Hesitates to open it, not hesitates from opening it. Jeez! He experiences visions of Benny Russell confined in a psychiatric hospital as a doctor tries to persuade him to end the story of Benjamin Sisko. Sisko begins to bury the orb, but Ezri convinces him to open it. When he does, an energy vortex is unleashed, which reopens the wormhole and expels the Pa race from it. Sisko experiences a vision, so it's not an energy vortex. That's not what comes out of it. It's one of the wormhole aliens. Anyway, Sisko experiences a vision in which one of the prophets explains that she merged with Sisko's mother years ago to ensure Sisko's birth and the fulfillment of his destiny. Against the advice of the Federation's Admiral Ross, Kira blockades Derna with old Bajoran ships, vastly outmatched by the firepower of the Romulans. Neither Kira nor the Romulans appear willing to back down, and seeing the wormhole reopen strengthens Kira's resolve. When he sees that Kira will not surrender, Ross persuades the Romulans to retreat. On the Klingon ship, Worf is annoyed by the presence of O'Brien, Bashir, and Quark. This storyline. Eventually, Martok reminds him to be grateful that Jadzia had such loyal friends, and he apologizes to them. Oh, it's so bad. It's ham. Oink, oink, oink. When they reach the Dominion shipyard, they execute a plan to fly dangerously close to the sun and trigger a plasma ejection that will destroy the shipyard and eliminate the gates of Stovacor for Jadzia. No, it'll kill a whole bunch of people, destroy stuff, and that will earn her place in Stovacor. Who wrote this? They need shin kicks, maybe a trip through the agony booth. The plan seems to fail when they are unable to trigger the plasma ejection, but they succeed on their second try and demolish the shipyard. When Sisko returns to Deep Space Nine, the Bajoran people praise him for reopening the wormhole. His crew welcomes him back and are perplexed at the arrival of Ezri Dax. And that is all Wikipedia has to say about shadows and symbols. I'm just going to let you start. You just start, boss. Just start.
Oh, boy. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know. It's tough to, since I sometimes make the mistake when I do my reviews to do them too far in advance because this time of the week is other stuff going on. So sometimes I'll do it on a Monday, for example. And by the time 2 days go by, something is so forgettable or just I don't really care much. I try to pay attention. I don't make notes. It's not my style. So I'll actually think, especially with the kind of episodes we're dealing with the past 2 episodes, things will blend together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I'll forget. And that's why I'm always need you to actually need your sometimes I need your synopsis that you give before some things will, because of your synopsis reading, something will pop back in. I'll go, oh yeah, that was in that episode. Forgot all about that. It'll stir up the memory. I just, like I said, I think the most intriguing stuff was probably the stuff with the Romulan and Kira.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that stuff. Kritek. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, she's marvelous.
And that kind of stuff, but I just don't. I'm not engaged by any of this, to be honest with you. I'm really not. It's just kind of this crap with Benny Russell. I guess we're supposed to think is Benny Russell a creation of the Pa Wraiths in order to play with Sisko's
if that
sense
were
of
true,
reality?
How is he able to access this alternate reality that happens only in his brain before they were released?
I don't know. I didn't say it was. I was just speculating.
Just write science fiction. Stop writing religion.
Yeah.
Stop writing
I hate it.
religion.
I
Just
just
stop.
just gets on my nerves. The whole thing. Some of the stuff. I mean, I'm with you about. I'm with you about the whole thing with Jadzia and Worf and the guys and stuff. But I like these characters, and I mean, there's something kind of endearing about that whole point. Them wanting to do something for Jadzia like that. So I didn't mind that too much. But I do agree with this. Where you're coming from. I just don't. In the bottom, in the grand scheme of things, the episode's just like another building block to what they're trying to build that I'm not all that interested in. So I don't have a lot to say about it. It's you know what? It's called Shadows, and this way this episode is a shadow. There's really just not much there, and it's a symbol, and that means symbolism over substance. And I don't really care much for it.
Well, they're
So,
trying to hold on to these 5 stories and keep you interested in them because they're not gonna pay off until another
no,
episode. So once again,
right.
you have these 5 stories to deal with.
I think, and not only that, this whole crap now, because remember, when we were talking about the previous episode, when I started talking about the stuff with Cisco's mother, I forgot the two blended together. I forgot that this episode. I hate the crap out of that whole garbage about all the prophets going back and making Cisco. Now he's not just a person. Now he's not just a human being that got selected.
He's a god.
Now he's a god. Just everything about the prophet stuff went from bad to worse for me with these past 2 episodes. It makes me sick.
Yep. He's a god.
Oh God. Yep. Oh, truly, this man is the son of God. All right. So anyway, go ahead with your notes because this episode doesn't deserve much attention.
I've never liked Ezri. I'm sure Nicole DeBoer is lovely. I've never met her. She's one of the few people in Star Trek who I have not met. I think she's quite beautiful, very pixie-like. She looks like a sprite, just very, very pretty and small and very feminine. And just, I'm sure she's the nicest human being ever. But I don't like her chatty character. I don't like the nervous character, the fact that the character is chatty. The character is always nervous. The character is insecure about everything. And worst of all is, I don't know if Nicole did this on purpose, but her character has a lisp. And it's just, it's so grating on me. Like the lisp that comes and goes. So it's a little strange. And then we go back to this getting Jadzia into Stovacor. And then Tyree, Cisco, the thing I don't like about what happens on Tyree is Cisco mistreats his father and fulfills this messianic prophecy. It's quite upsetting the way that he treats his father, actually. I don't like it. His father could drop dead in that desert, and he just acts like he doesn't care. And this isn't the first time they've done this with Cisco, made it seem as though, he doesn't care about Jake. He doesn't care about his father. He doesn't care about anything. He only cares about his status as a demigod or a messiah. We get more from Damar. There's more setup in this storyline. And now we've got a little bit of conduct on becoming. So we've got what is basically a lady of the evening in a sensitive area now. So what they're trying to do is very slowly draw us to Damar being, insubordinate, conduct unbecoming. He has addiction issues. He's doing things he shouldn't be doing. And so we're led on a little more with that. There's no payoff. It's not an interesting story, so who cares? Then Kira and the Romulans, Snuggles and Strategy. Snuggles and Strategy is probably the most annoying thing that I have to watch. Watching Kira and Odo move their heads back and forth. It's like watching Lauren Green's New Wilderness. It's like watching a mother bird feed its baby bird when they kiss. It's really gross. So I call that situation Snuggles and Strategy. So what are you going to do? He's feeding the baby bird. How does Ezri know what Cisco said to Jadzia's coffin? This is something that has always bothered me on rewatch after rewatch after rewatch. Esri says to Cisco, you promised to Jadzia that you would make it right. What? Shut up. You wouldn't know that. Jadzia was dead. So more crappy writing. Where's the editor on this one? Let's go see who edited this. Oh, look, it's Ira Steven Bear and Hans Beamer or Beimer or whatever. Like, seriously, like, look, if this was a single author writing all of this, I would not be saying any of this, because this is a television show that was happening every week, and it's a lot of responsibility and there's a lot of storytelling, but that's not what's happening here. What we're actually watching is a corporate team of writers and a corporate team of producers and editors, and none of them are doing their job. And what's worse is that many of them were vocal in criticizing Gene Roddenberry and even making fun of original Star Trek, saying that it was unrealistic, too far-fetched, that no one would watch it, that it was kooky or hokey or whatever you want to say. So that's why I'm like this, folks. That's why I'm like this. Anyway, someone should have caught that. I don't enjoy the loony Cisco laugh. I think it's creepy. It reminds me of a horror movie. I mean, it should be crazy. Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Instead, it's like a full-on creepy horror movie. I hate horror. I suppose some people think this is clever. I put in my notes, but the Messiah visions are not my cup of tea. In this episode, we learn that Cisco is the son of a god. And so some people say, oh, well, that's very Greek and so on and so forth, but it's not. It's not Greek. What it is it's really playing into the Immaculate Conception. Come on. A wormhole alien who shared his mother's body and gave birth to a god. This is Star Trek, people. This is Star Trek. I say it is not Star Trek.
I guess you could say, since they don't have any of the same sense, they don't live in linear time, then they just, after they meet Cisco, decide to go back and create Cisco. I don't know. I mean, otherwise, if you don't do it that way, I know you don't. I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kidding everybody, by the way. So I'm saying, since that's not the case, I don't care if they live linear or not, they had to have some reason for creating Cisco. But when they meet him in The Emissary, the first episode of the series, they don't even know what the hell he is.
They don't. And they have to ask him, what is corporeal?
They don't even understand it. So,
yeah.
By the way, there's another thing. Since this, look, I love Trials and Tribulations. I always have to go back to that. Eric, hey, what's up, buddy?
Okay, everyone, don't expect him to respond, because he better be in bed. Don't make me come down there. But everyone, please send him some love.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, sweetheart. Do not respond. Do not make yourself tired,
please.
Good
to see you, buddy. Okay. Let me ask you something. Since I love, like we've already talked about, unconditionally love Trials and Tribulations, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, one thing is, if they don't understand, meaning the aliens, linear time, why is there an orb of time?
Well, that's what I said when we covered that episode. Why is that? What's going on with that? Like I think that's why I gave that episode an F. I just said to everyone, like, they're non-corporeal, they're omnipotent, they don't believe in any type of time. They actually oops, I almost swore. They actually poop talk time as though it's something that only lower life forms believe in.
Right. And yet they go back in time, at least for Cisco's timeline is concerned, and basically create him or whatever. I hate that. It's
bad writing.
They ruined. Look, there are other things that have happened that have damaged the character of Cisco for me that we've talked about. Things that they've had him do in the writing, and then they would, but all the inconsistent writing of the character. But I really like the character. This almost destroys the character for me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I love Avery Brooks and all that stuff. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were still on your notes, I believe.
No, I think I just said, Cisco is the son of God, a wormhole alien who shared his mother's body. So, and what is peak gross here, the involved in all of this is that his mother didn't abandon him. It's that his the god left her body, and so she did not feel connected to Cisco, and the father was nothing to her, and so she was just doing this herself to create a corporeal being. And yeah, it's just, this is the kind of crazy shit that makes me mad. I'm just mad with it. It's so bad, and people make so many excuses for it, and it's really just really, really shitty writing that they're pushing on you because they were too lazy to get an editor to work it through, to massage it, and to make it work, and to stick with science fiction. Just stick with science fiction.
Absolutely. It does take a wrecking ball to him, ED, and that's also true, Jill, that it's cruel to his father too. All this is horrible. Yeah. Okay. Well, what is your rating, number one, of Shadows and Skimbles?
It's an F. It's an F because this whole thing is not science fiction. A lot of it is absurd, and much of it is incredibly cruel. I talk a little bit in my notes for the next episode about the cruelty of it. Imagine sitting down with your father. You find out that your mother isn't your mother. You have virtually no reaction, and then you find out you're a god.
Sucks.
This is and it doesn't line up at all with what happened in The Emissary. And as I said multiple episodes ago, these are supposed to be non-corporeal, non-linear beings who consider even the conception of time to be beneath them.
Yeah. I too give it an F. Now I'll ask our wonderful friends in the chat, what if any are your ratings of go ahead, what is it, Shadows and Symbols, while number one is starring those. I received an email, sorry Michael Beacom, I saw it later, from Michael Beacom, so I'm going to read his review of Image of the Sand real quick, and then of Shadows and Symbols, and we'll get the other reviews. How about that? So Michael Beacom of Image of the Sand says C-. He said the plot reeks of fanfic retconning. Cisco's mom was possessed by the wormhole aliens. His mom is not his real mom. I think he's kind of like me. He was conflating the first two. From Bajor to Earth. I know Bear and Company didn't have the Star Trek. The company didn't have the Star Trek Stellar Cartography book, but I do, and Bajor and Earth are on opposite ends of the Alpha Quadrant. But the wormhole aliens can just go there. I want to rework Clark's Law. Any sufficiently advanced BS is indistinguishable from magic. B plot is Worf, but is Worf must go on dangerous mission so his wife gets into heaven. What? I get Klingons as Vikings thing, but this didn't work. That's him. That was Michael Beacom on the Image of the Sand episode, everybody. And now his review of Shadows and Symbols. Michael Beacom of Shadows and Symbols says B. He gives it a B. He says, new things. Colonel Kira should have been done season 4, he says. Meet Dax. And by the way, I didn't finish talking about Dax. I actually do like Esri. I'm fine with her. Again, I'm not happy because it's not Jadzia. But I do like the actress fine. And, that's one of my things I do kind of like about the 7th season. I like her. It's a different take on it, but I guess maybe that comes from being a Doctor Who fan. I don't know. Anyway, meet Dax. He says, now with a younger, perkier Trill. But don't worry, she won't do science stuff. We're not good at writing science. He's right. Yeah. Cisco of Arabia. Nice to be outdoors for a bit. Good costumes. Now they just need a good story. Instead, they rip off the Cuban Missile Crisis. If I were the Dominion, I would make sure Kira's. I would make sure Kira's ships. I would make sure Kira's ships. Oh, Kira's ships. I should sorry. Were blown away and make it look like Romulans did it to split the audience. So that's Michael Beacom, and we thank you, Michael Beacom, out there. Okay,
Very nice.
Indeedish. The AI show's here, right?
Yes, and I put his comment in the start tab so that you could welcome him, boss.
I see it. Good to see you, AI. Thank you for being here. JT Kirk, D-. Eyeshadow and pimples is aptly named for the first story. Let's see. For the first story with Counselor Kid Extraordinaire. Jadzia deleted the albino with the team geriatric Dar and fought years in the Dominion War. If that's not enough, how does this one stinky mission get Jadzia into Stovakar? That's a very good point, JT. A very, very good point. She's done enough to get to Stovakar, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
She died in battle. She was killed by a monster, but it seems Jadzia's honor existed and then never existed based on the needs of the writers of the room. Man, that is the best take I've heard yet, because I didn't think about that. JT wins the day. Exactly. That whole thing was stupid to get her into Stovakar when she's already been fighting. You're so right.
It's true.
Those idiot writers, they suck. They were just now I'm glad even gladder that I gave it a freaking F.
Yeah, and you would think that all of that experience would be imparted on Esri, and that's why I find her way too nervous. She's like, I don't know, she's like a house mouse, but hopped up on something, some kind of bathtub drugs or something. It seems like she has every neuroses possible, and it's difficult to watch. Although she is quite cute, and I'm sure everyone loves her.
Yeah, I love her. But also, I like the idea. I do like the concept of her not being a Trill that was trained to carry a Trill, but they had no choice but to save the Dax's life. I kind of like it. I thought that was at least interesting. The AI show says, "At Mister, not really. She's in a runabout with Gabrielle. Lol. Okay, I don't know what. I'm not sure what you were referring to there, AI. It's not a review. Weird. Okay."
Wolfie.
No,
Wolfie, just the thing is that, like, the way that I see it is that they did a disservice to Nicole, because this is it. This is the last season. And to have such a neurotic character in the final act doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't endear her to us, and it makes it difficult to like her. She's not charismatic. She's falling apart, and it's unenjoyable. But that's just me.
Scuba Pete says, D, song to the sound of silence. And the Bajoran people bowed and prayed to the Cisco God they made. And the words of the prophets were written on DS9's walls. Boy, these were the writers at balls. I know the songs that you give, but sometimes the dialogue is not that conducive to it. Just
hey,
so
boss, did you know that Jonah Hex is here?
Jonah Hex.
All right.
Love it. Good to see you, buddy.
Everyone, welcome Jonah Hex. Evening.
One of my favorite DC characters, even though you used using Josh Brolin there, I'm not so sure. That movie was terrible, dude. What's wrong with you? But hey, still love Jonah Hex. I had to bust his job for a second. Mr. Angel. Chef says D-. Being generous for the fact, but the fact I have kind of a puppy love for Esri, and I find her unwillingly comical. I know I am
simping
a bit. Stop looking at me that way. Now stop it.
No,
hey, there's nothing wrong.
You're allowed.
I'm with you, dude.
Yeah,
Lisa.
Don't be ashamed of that.
Lisa says, F+. They're back. They created the Cisco. That's kind of cool. But if they can manipulate the birth of the Cisco, they should be able to manipulate anyone. Honoring Jadzia battle, don't really care. Thank you so much, Lisa. Raymond Feliciano says, B, How the heck could the Klingons cause a stellar chaotic event with one ship? Suspect science. He could have treated Joe better. I think the Pirates created the Benny Russell visions from the start. I think that too. This was what really made me think that, Raymond. So I think I agree with you on that one. Enigmatic Drop Bear says D plus.
But don't you have to release the paw race?
One of them was out already.
Yeah, but you have to release them, and then there was supposed to be an epic battle like the Book of Revelation. So they had to be released at a specific time. It's not like you could say, "Oh, they've been here the whole time."
Well, remember, one of them is out with Ducat, and he did go see Damar.
Yes.
So I don't know.
But that would mean that he would have to that the paw race would have had to have been there all the way back to the beginning of DS9.
You got me.
That's crazy. Anyway,
I'm not going to argue it, because if I were arguing, that would mean that I would rather be on your side on that anyway. So screw them.
I hear you.
D plus for Enigmatic Drop Bear. He says A ? Prophet came to Earth, possessed Sarah, married Joe Sisko, conceived Ben, abandoned Sarah, then went back to the wormhole. How did such a stupid concept ever see the light of day? Boy, whatever, man. I'm with you, man.
And how could a god be trapped in a box and left on Tyree? Why would that happen? And everyone, please say hello to Anonymous.
Anonymous, what's up, bud? Anonymous, good to see you, sir. Let's see here. Fast forward, and Ben Sisko and his not-so-intrepid band of explorers go on a treasure hunt and on a desert planet. Why is there an orb buried on this planet?
Yeah.
It's all so cliched, lame, and stupid, indeed. Yes. Every story thread in this episode was permeated, tainted even, with incredibly clumsy religious allegory.
Yes.
It continues a trend that has ruined this show.
Yes.
I don't
preach.
The raid on the shipbuilding yard was a bit of fun, as was Kyoto's stand against the Romulans, which is why this one avoids an F.
I gotcha.
Fair cop. I'm with you, buddy.
What an excellent review. And I love Kyoto.
Fancy Outsider. Yeah, I do. Fancy Outsider says A+++. This is the greatest episode ever made of Star Trek. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my. Oh, sorry. I got it wrong. He says F. What?
Boss.
What?
Poor Fanty.
Sorry, Fanty. I got it backwards. It always confused the name with an F. You know my eyesight. F. He says F. So the Klingons killed their gods, but have some sort of bouncer for Stovakar. You must have this much glory to enter. You must have this much glory to enter. I am Klingon. I will not listen to reason. Really? Oh, so enhanced humans aren't usually allowed in Starfleet, huh?
Especially not a god.
One of two, maybe three. Oh, dude. Don't hedge on me. And now where's your other one, Captain? Captain Phantom Outsider. But being part space gods, fine. Sorry, question mark. Shouldn't the Federation be serving the space gods with paternity papers? How many times have they done this? You shouldn't be able to hijack Federation citizenship. Yeah, no shite. Oh, dude. Also, since the space gods use sand for vision, visions. Well, I don't know. Sand for vision somethings. Wouldn't that be a huge security breach? What with Pat Boone leaving love letters in the sand? And I think Quark and Garrick got themselves a bunch of 3, 4. Oops, dude. One more, and don't make me pull this YouTube channel.
Oh over. No, Fanty! I think you're bound for the booth. I think you're going to the agony booth.
Brought to the agony booth. Etch a sketch. Quark. He did have an etch a sketch, so that was true. Quark has prophets say, "Eat it, Quarks. Snail juice for a better day." Garrick's are more straightforward. Delete the cut. Garrick prophets proclaim best tailor in the universe. Oakley dokley. All righty. All right, Fanty.
Larry, Klingon closed captioning.
Indeedishness.
Ah,
Shooter says D. Okay, the Cisco Jesus thing is here to the end, till the end. I accept it for what it is because fighting it will ruin any chance of enjoying the final season. Time to turn parts of the brain off. They
yeah,
try to.
and you have to start thinking now is that he wouldn't even need the paw race or the wormhole aliens because this whole time he's been a god. So maybe his visions are his own visions that he concocted himself because since conception, he's been a god. He's Jesus. So he doesn't need the help of others to perform miracles or to be able to speak to God or to act as God. He's a part of the Trinity, right? So yeah, he shouldn't need any help from the wormhole aliens or from the paw race because he's a god.
Why is Julian going on this mission? His supposed love for Jadzia seems forced. Quark is more believable. Quark is more believable has he has more experience with Klingons and was a close friend of Jadzia.
Jeebus!
Who?
Nothing. I'm just goofing off with Smilex.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to somebody that came in. The whole Ezri trying to come to terms with being joined works to a point. Then it becomes repetitive and tedious during the season. That said, I like her. You know, the only thing I didn't like about her, by the way, is that silly stuff about her getting space sick. I'm like, she's
She's a Starfleet officer.
Starfleet officer, and before that, she was a Starfleet officer too. It's not like, I don't know. It's kind of dopey. It was unnecessary.
Cisco Christ, superstar.
Yep. Who the hell do you think you are?
That's Scuba Pete.
The return, of course, it is. Who else? The return of Benny as a paw wraith attack on Cisco, Raspberry. Did this achieve anything? Was this storyline too boring that they needed to add this to spice it up?
Everyone, please welcome a warrior of justice. He says, "Hey, Clobby," and first officer.
Warrior of justice.
Oh, I think he also made a pun there because he said, "Hey, Clobber Lane."
Yeah, he calls me that. I think he's a fan of Rocky 3.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm catching the reference correctly. And I catch my references correctly all the time. Maybe. Even the Bajoran Stockade, which had potentially failed, I believe, due to the Space God story. Oh, and I am enjoying the Damar storyline, but I am biased because I know what's coming. Yeah, I do too, and I actually I like him. He's actually becomes an interesting character. Let's see here. Jill, communications officer, says C-. Damar's increasing alcoholism is an intense way to indicate his similar detachment from the Dominion War effort as he steps away from reality. I only like this because it pays off later. Later at the Hall of Justice, the prophets were said to be disconnected. So how do the Power Wraiths know about his prophet dream from far beyond the stars? Good point. What is the communication network between these two ethereal factions? Ethereal even factions. Let's see here. I was proud of Admiral Ross for finally seeing that he needed to back Bajor's independence and right to decide who sets up base on their moons. So this episode corrects what bothered me before. Fair enough. Yeah. Ezri Dax does a fine job holding herself together as much as she does, since she didn't have the years training Trill normally do. Nicole is lovely. I was at the con and she joined our table. Oh, cool. She seems like a sweetheart. People who love Jadzia doing something for a memory making move against the Dominion is touching and productive. But would Starfleet really approve for a potentially suicidal mission? I don't. Well, the Starfleet is portrayed on Deep Space Nine. I can't even predict anymore the way the crazy crap they do. Simply Steve says F. Real title, shallow plot, and the dum dum symbols. Okay. Kira powered by the wormhole Romulans next door. Oh no, Ezri Dax was hoping for the orb of time. Has Sicko opened it? He's rewarded with deification.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Oh boy. Wolfie says, "See, I like killing the shipyards. We haven't seen that yet. These Kardashians are living up to their name."
I love it when he says that, but it messes me up because now sometimes when I'm reading, I'm like, Kardashians, but it is funny.
Indeedishness. Let's see. Stephen Cal Buddy says, C-. This episode does a good job of wrapping up the story set up in the previous episode, but that's all it really does. The rushed explanation of how Ezri came to become the host for Dax, for the new Dax symbiote. I think you just mean the new. I think. Well, it's Dax. Never mind. Seemed lazy at best. Why not make her the intended recipient on the Trill homeworld?
Mm-hmm.
Also, why it's somewhat understandable that Worf might resent Quark and Bashir going on the mission, given their known feelings for Jadzia. Why would Worf include O'Brien in that same assessment? Because he wanted to do it himself, is what they said. But anyway, did O'Brien have a thing for Jadzia too at some point, or was it just for Kira?
Kira,
don't remind me.
Kira and Kira's coochie.
Oh Lord, I will admit that I kind of liked how they tied in the Benny Russell character's story as a Paul-Wraith-induced vision to attempt to trick Sisko into giving up. But either Ezri is incredibly lucky with her throw of the baseball, or she suddenly found herself helped by a prophet in the outfield, as it were.
Aww. Angels in the outfield.
Good one. Prophet in the outfield. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Kira's opposition to the actions of the Romulans after their exposed deception turned out exactly as one would have expected. Though, again, this was a serviceable episode which fulfilled its purpose, but nothing more.
Well, that's an excellent review. Everyone, could you do me a favor? Would everyone please welcome Joe Dog to the chat? Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And Boss Man, we have received a really, really nice message from Warrior of Justice, and it is waiting for you in your starred panel. So that's up and coming. Really, really nice message for you and I.
Okay. All right. On my way to it. Right here, this one, Warrior of Justice, and a fan of you, sir and madam. Well, thank you, Warrior of Justice. I appreciate you, sir.
What a nice note. Thank you so much. So good to hear. Welcome to the chat. I hope you have a wonderful time tonight. If you need anything, please let Clubby or I know. We'll get right on it.
Absolutely. The AI show says C-. Let's see. Shadows and Symbols title sounds like it was directed by John Cassavetes. Great actor, good director too. The revelation of Sisko's mother makes this seem like Interstellar Peyton Place. Another older reference there, sir. Well, there you go. The episode essentially turns Sisko into Paul Atreides from Dune in the Star Trek universe. I think they owe Frank Herbert estate royalties. Alternative title should be The Wormhole You're In. Wow, nicely done, AI.
I like that reference.
Nice. Sander Hammerslag says F. Don't like religion in my science fiction.
Me neither.
Right there with you. And the great bronze wrencher Eric K says F. This episode just proves that DS9 is just a psychotic break by some guy in the 20th century. No kidding.
Eric, initially back when this very first happened back in 1998, that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought that they were going to say, look, we're going to break this off of Star Trek, and this is going to be like, I don't know, like this thing that happened to this person who's in a loony bin. I was actually quite worried about that back in 1998. And I wondered what direction they were going to go in. So I love that you said that, because I was really worried about that in 1998.
Wouldn't have put it past them. And at the same time, they had a Buffy episode doing the same thing. Kidokali. All right, well, are we ready for our next one?
Yes, we are. Boss,
All right,
boss,
folks.
boss. We are.
Our next episode is After Image.
Yeah, just let me get that loaded up.
Okay,
here it is. After Image is season 7, episode 3. If that doesn't line up, don't worry. The streaming services always messes stuff up. It's prod code in the book, if you're following along in the book, 553. Again, the episode is called After Image, if your numbers aren't lining up. We all watched this for the very first time on October 12th, 1998.
We have a late-minute review.
Oh, hello. Good evening, Mark.
Chief Engineer popped in. He gave it I think he's talking about, I guess this is a review of the episode we just did, right? So we'll do it real quick. He gave it a C. Did someone say Wraiths and Rom? I'd rather be watching the Marvel Comics version. Cisco as a demigod with too many midichlorians. Cisco needs to use the Force and get this war over with so he can get back to exploring on Star Trek. Thank you, sir. Indeed. I think he was talking about that latest episode. Oh, one more. Sorry.
Yep.
That said 2 of 2, though. You cheated.
Yep.
Image in the Sand gets an F due to the hatred directed towards clams. Wait a minute. Oh, yes. Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Jake, if I never see another clam,
it'll be too soon.
Glad he reminded me.
Nice. Okay.
Best scene in both episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt G. Hey.
I think he was here earlier, though, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I panicked.
Okay, I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia. I haven't pre-read it. It's probably going to suck, but we'll get through it, folks. I promise. In addition to coping with the memories of her symbiont's past lives, Ezri must deal with a range of reactions generated by her presence on Deep Space Nine. Captain Benjamin Sisko offers her a permanent job on the station, but she is reluctant to accept it due to the awkwardness of her interactions with Jadzia's friends. It should also be noted that although this isn't from Wikipedia, this is highly discouraged, right? What she's doing due to this very thing. Anyway, especially like on Trill, right? Especially Jadzia's husband Worf, who refuses to speak to her and threatens Julian Bashir after Bashir chats with her over lunch. Well, he doesn't threaten Julian Bashir. He actually assaults him. He violently assaults him and chokes him with his forearm while on duty. So that's, we're going to fix that. That's also in my notes. Garrick, who has been working on decoding encrypted Cardassian communications to aid the Federation war effort, has been suffering acute attacks of claustrophobia. Sisko asks Ezri to try to help him. Their first meeting seems to go well, but soon his claustrophobia has gotten so bad that he is found in an airlock attempting to eject himself into outer space. At a later meeting, Garrick derides Ezri as a confused child and an unworthy successor to Jadzia, and he leaves her in tears. She tells Sisko she wants to resign from Starfleet, and he berates her for wasting the symbiont's life. Ezri returns to Garrick's shop to apologize to him and tells him about the good his work has done in the war effort. The ensuing conversation reveals the real reason for Garrick's panic attacks. Well, they weren't panic attacks. They were claustrophobia attacks. Although he believes that defeating that, let's not just like turn all of the medical illnesses into a giant soup, shall we? Although he believes that defeating the Dominion is necessary for the good of Cardassia, He feels he has betrayed his people by aiding the Federation to defeat Cardassians in battle. Having helped Garrick deal with his conflicted emotions, well, his traitorous ways, not his conflicted emotions, but the fact that he's betraying his own people, Ezri decides to remain in Starfleet. Sisko admits that he berated Ezri only as a reverse psychology method to get her to prove herself, a tactic Jadzia had used on him before. He still holds out the offer for her to stay on DS9. Meanwhile, Worf confides in his friend Miles O'Brien that he believes that it dishonors Jadzia's memory for her friends to treat Ezri as the same person as Jadzia. But O'Brien retorts that it is treating her like a stranger that dishonors Jadzia. Worf visits Ezri to apologize to her and tells her that she should not turn down Sisko's job offer on his account. Ezri accepts the position and is promoted to the rank of lieutenant.
God. Holy crap. I was waiting for that. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
It just doesn't get any better, does it?
Just kidding me. Oh, my. Hey, Warrior of Justice. Thank you for the super chat. You were too kind. He says, I too would like to defeat the Kardashians, Mrs. Spock. I love it when people call Kardashians.
Yes, it's marvelous.
So, that never gets old.
Never.
Thank you so much. You were too kind, my friend. This episode, well, Garrick's always cool. He's always terrific. I mean, and that stuff about what he was going through was pretty interesting, I suppose. And unlike you, I do like Ezri, but I don't like the way she's written very often, early on especially. And the stuff with Worf, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get trapped. I don't get trapped in like fandom like other people do. Maybe it's because I'm an academic. Maybe it's because I'm an author. I'm not sure, but I don't get caught up in it. Like somebody said earlier, and I forget who it was who was saying it. Just write Ezri as somebody who comes from Trill, and she has her own set of problems. But to bring her in as somebody who suffers from multiple mental illnesses, and this imposter syndrome and this insecurity, and she's constantly seasick, as it were, quote unquote seasick, and she has this complex and that complex, and she's not really qualified for her job and all these things. It's too much. And the poor lady, this lady is a very pretty lady. This lady has one season to make this character happen. And I'm not buying the way that fans try to fill in to make it better than it is. They really gave this beautiful woman the short end of the stick. It's dumb.
To be honest, as much as we all like because one of the things about that's great about Dax is the concept, and Terry Farrell took it and did a really nice job. The character of over 6 years, Warrior of Justice. Thank you for that. Another one. Chris Brown was choking officers in that episode. Chris Brown. Thank you so much.
Why you made me do my evil laugh, Warrior of Justice. You're a very naughty
Thank
boy. That was good. That was good.
So bringing her back. Look, I understand. If you're the writers and you go, look, she leaves the show, but we have a character that you can bring back, similar in a sense to Doctor Who, where it can be the same, mostly the same being, with the interesting idea of being in a different body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all that entails for. It could have just made it they got the Trill back home and found an initiate and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have even had that initiate go to, of course, it would have taken longer to get it to Starfleet. They had to write it as a gimmick.
Yeah.
Making it a Starfleet officer so they could include the character on the show. It wouldn't work anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand that. They went with the gimmick of making it. Otherwise, again, that person would have been on Trill for a long time, and there's no guarantee that would have been someone that goes in the Starfleet. This way, you made sure it was a Starfleet officer who, and then Dax wanted to go see Sisko. I understand that. I really do. I just think if you're going to use Dax and do it that way, fine. It's a gimmick, but it's a TV show. What are you going to do? But you could have written it a little bit. She didn't have to be that much of a wimp. She didn't have to be the badass that Jadzia is, but she didn't have to be this. I mean, I get it. They were trying to make her very different from Jadzia, but making her afraid of her own shadow at first and getting space sick and stupid shit like that.
Dumb.
Dumb.
Give me a bullion
they could have done better.
Give me a bullion with 3 chesticles.
Yeah.
And call it a day. Get rid of the Dax symbiont. We're done with Jadzia.
Right.
She's on Becker. Have a great time with Ted Danson. See ya. And then just give me a bullion with 3 chesticles.
Boy, that would have been some very expensive makeup days for that.
It would have been so fun. Just give me science.
I think they could have just written Esri better. I mean, I like her. I love the actress. I know that's a guy thing, but she could have. I understand that right now she has a difficulty transitioning into the role. Hello there, Dad Man. I do. Good to see you, Dad Man. I hope you are all out there being safe on the road and having a great trip out there. And good to see you. And hail to Mrs. Dad Man and the clan. So I just think they probably. I mean, again, this is only like her 3rd episode. I get it. So I'm not going to hold that much against her because I think I do think she gets better along the way. But like you say, they only have 1 year. The whole episode as a whole is just kind of blah. And I don't really. What is it with Worf? What is it with Worf on the show that every time they just willy-nilly decide to make him stupid in an episode stupider than he usually is?
I don't know, but for me, it's very frustrating because in TNG, he's an intellectual. This is a gentleman who sits down every evening and tucks into an opera. Operas that have been said to be Shakespeare. This is Shakespearean. Have you read Shakespeare in the original Klingon or Klingon operas? And some of them are from Earth, and some of them are from Kronos. And so this is somebody who is like, it's not like you can be a total nincompoop if you're watching Shakespeare. I mean, watching Shakespeare is just beautiful. I mean, some of us read it, but, Shakespeare wanted you to watch his plays so that, they were accessible to everyone. Everyone could go and watch and get in on the joke and have a good time. But on DS9, he is a complete nincompoop. He is a double-digit IQ nincompoop. And and to top it all off, he's insufferable, and he also is constantly guilty of assaulting people. This is not the Worf I know. The Worf I know is all about honor. He doesn't go around, fisticuffs in uniform or otherwise. It's just dumb.
And not with humans. I mean, around Klingons, he acts like a Klingon. Around humans, he doesn't grab the doctor and do that crap that he pulled in this one.
Yeah,
just because he's being nice to because he was sitting there having a drink with Esri. That was asinine and stupid. Like Worf is written so badly by these idiots sometimes.
Well, imagine Worf at Swan Lake.
Where?
Like at the ballet.
That would be funny.
This is the image that we're originally given him, that he's into fine arts. He sings opera. He sings classic opera. He listens to classic opera. He's into fine arts. He likes Shakespeare. He enjoys acting. He enjoys singing. Like, I'm probably repeating myself right now because I didn't prepare to talk about this, but it is very clear that Worf is an extremely intelligent person who is definitely refined and into fine arts. This is a guy who I would hang out with on the weekend. If I'm going down to the Jubilee Auditorium and I'm going down to see an opera, or I'm going down to see a ballet, I'm going to be sitting next to someone who knows all about it. He, that's the way they portray Worf initially, and now a complete moron. I don't understand it, and it's something that I complain about all the time. And now in the filth, he's a complete idiot. Now he's a single-digit IQ moron.
Oh Lord! So Did you? By the way, did you get all your notes? Or
No, I'll start
go
on my
ahead.
notes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why am I talking too much?
No, I was just, we've been so engaged in it. I didn't know if you'd done the
Sorry.
notes or not.
I've
Nothing to be
never
sorry about.
understood
You're
why
good.
Esri tells Kira that Dax died with every trail, and that she knows what it's like to die, and how she understands the sensation of dying. Dax is removed before the Trills die. Okay, so Esri would not know what it's like to die. Okay, so I don't understand why the weird conversation at the beginning. Esri, quote unquote, counsels Garrick and spends the whole time talking about herself. It's supposed to be a clever way to bond with Garrick about guilt. She has an insane reaction to extreme child abuse. So here we have these weird drama people who don't know anything about psychology. It's obvious none of them have even taken introductory courses at a community college on psychology. But we're supposed to buy into this bonding over similar trauma. So trauma bonding. And expressions of trauma bonding. But Garrick explains that he's basically put in a cage under the stairs by his father, and she doesn't even bat an eyelash. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Then Worf goes through the same process Dr. Crusher went through in The Host. It's difficult to love someone who jumps from body to body, and we all know what this symbolizes, and I'm not going to get into it. Life experience doesn't equal training in psychology or psychiatry, and the fact that Cisco waived 7 to 12 years in university and all of Esri's exams is absolutely absurd. Okay, you couldn't just go to Starfleet and a Starfleet medical or any type of university and just say, look, we're going to make this person a psychiatrist or a psychologist. So she's just going to skip over the 7 to 12 years of university and all of her exams. So that's insane. That's totally dumb. It's like you went to the washroom and your brain fell out. The way she bonds with Julian is weird and cruel. This is supposed to be somebody who's a counselor or a therapist, but I think it's weird that she goes around instantly telling Jadzia's secrets. And it's bad because Julian really loved Jadzia, and so it actually makes him cry. So I think that's also another weird thing that they have Esri do. Worf assaults Julian and threatens Quark while on duty. So there's a full aggravated assault that happens in the medical bay, and nothing is done about it. And then I put on here the Enterprise D held around 1,013 people to about 1,300 souls. And we know this because when there were huge influxes of people who needed to be transferred to another place because something was going wrong, that we could take on 200 or 300 more souls. And
Right.
in general, the NCC 1701D held around 1,013 people, if memory serves me correctly. So if we scale to size, JT Kirk and Wolfie, please pay attention here. If we scale to size, imagine Esri being the only person on DS9 to offer counseling services. Okay? Think about that for a minute. So what are we talking about? Like 5,000 people, 6,000 people on DS9? Let's scale up that size.
Not all of them are Starfleet personnel, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of people to be in one place and to have no counselor. And it's not like it's just like, oh, well, we can assume there are other counselors. There's actually a weird conversation where Cisco says, well, Julian can't do it. There's no one else. It's got to be you.
What about the episode Hard Time when O'Brien was forced to see counselors?
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, Garrick was decoding for Starfleet. He would be assigned an actual psychiatrist. He would definitely be given some medication for these horrible claustrophobic attacks that he was having. Poor guy. very, very sad, especially when he almost self-deleted out the airlock. He would be seeing a clinical psychiatrist and he would get some calm the F down medication. Cisco says Julian is the only other choice. Why is this said? And then I put it here in my notes. What are we talking about here? At least 5,000 people during wartime. And there are no counselors, no psychologists, or psychiatrists on DS9. Why?
Wrong. Once again, they forgot their own show because they said there were in other episodes.
Yes. So this is just dumb, 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 and it's bad writing. And that's all I wrote.
Well, excellent. And what is your rating of After Image?
I don't. This is just dumb thing after dumb thing, and it's just really bad writing. But there's nothing here to give it an F. By now, I'm already disgusted and bored. We're 3 episodes in, and it's a nothing burger, as the cool American kids say, a saying that I love. So I gave it a D.
I got you. Pretty much the same. I mean, I like Garrick, but there's nothing really a lot to grab onto, so I'm gonna just go with a D as well. I mean, I can't really get excited about it. I reserve my F's for anger usually, but yeah, it's just nothing really good about it. I mean, what a start! Oh my goodness. So my friends out there in the chat, please now, if you have any. Sorry, coughing. Any ratings and any words you may have about the episode After Image? While number 1 is collecting those, I will bring us a review from our good buddy Michael Beacom. Here we go. All righty. All right, hang on 1 second. Let me. Okie dokie. Here we go. Michael Beacom, our good buddy, says. D. He gives this episode a D as well. And he says, time to justify the new Dax. So let's give Garrick a psychological problem. Granted, his issue is relatable as a man in Asia just opened the door on an airliner to get out due to claustrophobia. Okay. So Dax has to prove herself while at the same time she is having her own schizophrenic episodes with 8 lifetimes in her head. Meanwhile, Worf probably wants his money back on the attempt to get Jadzia into Klingon heaven. Worf and Dax alone would have made a great drama, but they watered it down in Trek tradition with A and B plots, so neither story is done full justice. All right, everybody, that's from our buddy Michael Beacom. Well done, sir, as always. Now let's see what we have up in here.
I love the Cajun man.
Maybe we should review all the episodes like the Cajun man. They say these episodes really who out there. But
oh, I love it when you do the who out there.
My buddy Jonah Hex gives it an F. Thank you, Jonah Hex. He did not like this, and the great enigmatic drop bear gives it a D- for ED. He says an episode to flesh out Ezri's character was a reasonable idea, but this was so patterned out and prosaic. This one is so. The dialogue was banal, and the barely existent story beats were as dull as a concrete. Let's get as concrete. Indeedishness. The Garrick scenes were somewhat interesting, but felt forced, shoehorned in to serve Ezri's counselor role.
Agreed. Agreed.
Absolutely-ishness. Antibiotics for Quark, a Ferengi. In the 24th century, more examples of these writers anchoring themselves in the 20th century and in human equivalencies. Their lack of imagination was stunning.
Yes, especially scientific imagination.
Yeah. In the end, Ezri gets a job on the station along with a promotion. Gee whiz, what a dazzling plot twist. We never would have predicted that outcome.
Yeah, she just skips over all of her medical exams, all
Yep.
of her medical training. Apparently, this person is going to be able to write psychiatric prescriptions for people, pharmaceutical prescriptions for people. No problem. She didn't go to school. It's not a big deal because the Cisco, the god, the god man likes her.
Kids never gets old for me. Scuba Pete says, D, raspberry. What did he say? I love it so much. Garrick had the right idea to space himself and leave this episode.
Yeah, like he was going to actually hurt himself. Like he needed an actual psychiatrist. He needed to, be given some calm the F down medication. And he needed some serious counseling, not some nervous little twerp who hasn't even been to school. What?
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I went and I prayed to the prophets, and they gave their review of this episode too.
Jake, if I never see another clan,
It'll be too soon.
Shout out to the
So
chief
cute.
engineer. That's the best scene in that dumb episode. JT Kirk says a D for boredom. He says, I don't like the Esri character. She's down there with Wesley and Kess for me. Wow. Next episode, please. Yeah, be careful what you wish for. Shooter says, and it begins. The Esri Dax focus in season 7 is over the top.
Yeah.
It is interesting watching her adapt to her new condition. Interesting, but not great. Pew pew indeed. Since when does DS9 have a counselor? Well, like I said, they've mentioned them before, but that's it. It's not now it's a main character like a la Troy, which is oh boy.
It's
Anyway,
weird.
I vividly recall Miles being ordered to see one a few seasons back.
Yes.
Hard time, yeah. And they said there was a couple. They said that just because they aren't part of the core cast doesn't mean they're not there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, sure.
Yeah, except for the fact that Cisco said, there's no one else.
Yes. They like I said, they don't follow their own freaking
They don't.
continuity.
And it's dumb.
Remember how Jadzia earned her degrees before being joined?
Yes.
Esri gets a pass on her certification because she's friends with the captain. Given her
wouldn't
issues,
even be
perhaps
legal.
she should have left the station. You know what? She would not even have been allowed to go to Earth to visit him. She would have been ordered back to Trill after the operation.
So that she could get some counseling for the fact that she's a nervous wreck who is behaving like a junkie. And everyone, please welcome to the chat who has been with us the whole time, Wendy and Jimmy, a Wendy Trauma Warrior. Good evening.
Wendy. Good to see you, Wendy Trauma Warrior. Jimmy. Hail to you out there. Good to see you. I think they would have ordered her back to Trill immediately, especially given the circumstances.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't work into their little plot. Remember how Jadzia or did I read that one already?
Yeah, you read that one, boss. You're done with shoot.
Esri gets a pass because given her issues, perhaps she should be left. Yeah. She should leave the station. Yeah, okay, that's right.
Pew, pew, pew.
What she said. We find
Good evening, Cardinal Sin. Everyone, wave hello.
Cardinal Sin. What's up, buddy?
Cardi.
Oh, that was his last one. Cardi. Hey, man. Hope you're doing well, buddy. All right, let's see.
Oh, boy. Scuba Pete just said not a trilling episode for sure.
Oh, dude, you're in trouble.
Oh, boy. Is Chris Persia here?
Are you in trouble?
Because the professor of pun just laid a smackdown on that chat with an amazing dad pun.
Nicely done. Warrior of Justice says, F. I don't want to get into my feelings. I want some action. Well, you'll get some, but not this week.
Nope.
Or not, yeah, afraid. Jill says B-. Esri struggles to manage her new memories and personalities and the challenge succeeding in helping Garrick actually inspired me to consider my own future. But her promotion is too premature. Yeah. This achieved a perfectly amenable way to deal with the Worf and Dax thing. And I really wish they left it this way instead of following up later. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, which I find to be an overkill the issue. Yeah, we can't really say anything, but
and also forbidden on Trill, or strongly discouraged on Trill. It's enough to get you locked up and for mandatory counseling sessions if they find out about it on Trill.
But that's in the future.
It's true.
Mr. Angel, Worf, says C. The chef says C. Worf, I don't care how big you are. I don't care how big you are. Keep picking on my little sister Ezri, and I will see you in the holographic arena. Safety's off. What the hell have the writers done to you, my boy? Look at my boy.
I know they're ruining Worf. I know
they've ruined him.
I loved the actual real Worf. I loved him.
My heart breaks for Garrick this episode. DS9 is pure hell for him. It is true. That's true. The great Kal-El says C. While not a bad episode, it has several elements in it that prevent it from being good. Most of which are character based. The idea that Quark and Bashir could so easily resume their quote unquote competition for the heart of Dax was rather telling, given that both characters had befriended Jadzia over the years, although with Quark it wasn't entirely unsurprising. This episode was a by the numbers story showing Ezri getting acclimated not only to the station but to those she served with as Jadzia. Worf's actions, although not acceptable by any means, were certainly understandable given where they came from. It was really surprising that the writers remembered that Garrick had suffered from claustrophobia and actually incorporated into the storyline rather than ignoring it or suddenly curing the character. Of course, despite the conflicts Ezri had with Worf and Sisko, she has agreed to stay on the station. That development was hardly a surprise. Still, it was an overall decent episode, which served its purpose for the Ezri Dax character. Well, thank you so much, Cal. Appreciate you. Let's see who is next up. I believe that would be Wolfie. All right, Wolfie says, rating C. You would think Garrick's issues would have surfaced to the level a long time ago, especially after the prison camp situation. Yes, I just didn't have time to deal with it. What can I tell you? Simply Steve says, let's see here.
You okay, boss?
Sorry, sometimes I forget to hit that.
No, it's okay, boss. Just making sure you're all right. I'm just glad you're okay.
No problem. Yeah, I'm glad you did because I wasn't looking. I didn't know I was muted. Simply Steve says D-. Real title. Afterthoughts, one and all. Sisko gets Ezri promoted so soon after the Dax retrilling. This episode has a writer's wasteland. This was a writer's wasteland. Dominion War and Garrick claustrophobia are afterthoughts as well. Thank you, Steve. The lovely Lisa says D. An untrained host of multiple lives memories. Multiple lives memories.
Yep.
She's so unstable, then becomes a therapist.
Yeah.
Good point. Garrick portrayal is amazing. Yeah, he's always great. Jadzia Mini-Me replacement is terrorizing all. Give Worf a break already.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree, Lisa. I think she's a total basket case.
Yeah, how she's a counselor, I don't know. Fayette outside,
and she doesn't even have to go to school.
Nah, She just has to be have a trill, be a trill. D says Fanny Outsider. Garrett was the most honest with Ezri Cisco. Cisco being a close second, suggesting a suggesting a life tending to the symbiote pool. Not a good episode. Sorry about that. Gotcha. Wendy Trauma Warrior. Good to see you. Wendy says, I came in while Raquel was talking and didn't want to interrupt. As someone with combat-related PTSD who has made counselors cry, good counselors need an excellent education.
Yes.
I call BS. Indeed, he is.
That's exactly it, Wendy. And the thing is that it's not elitist to say this, because I'm not saying it in this sort of call to authority. That's not the aim of my rhetoric here. It's that if you've never been to university, I think it might be difficult for you to understand that you can't simply fast track a 12-year education and begin, altering people's lives and giving them medication and stuff like that. So, many of these people who work in Hollywood, if you look them up, and I do mean many of them, sometimes when I'm looking them up, I would almost even use the word most of them, quit school in middle school, or they quit school in high school, which means two different things depending upon what country you reside in. But they don't even have a beginning education, and they write these stories not realizing what they're saying and what they're doing. But that type of expertise is definitely important, and it needs to be understood by everyone, whether they choose to go to university or not. I have the same issue with Beverly Crusher. It seemed as though Beverly Crusher had gone to university for 50 or 60 years, and yet her only parchment was as an MD, but really pushed it to the point where she was portrayed, like I said, with about 50 or 60 years, I believe it was the calculation that I did on air, of education. It's maddening to me. It's maddening to me because it undermines expertise, and it undermines the value of folks who spend their lives educating themselves to better the public and to better society in general, and give themselves over to that. So I love your comments. I love them.
The AI show says, C. Alternative title, support your local Garrick. See what you did there. No, support your local sheriff's one of my favorite movies. So I like the way you reference things. Let's see here. Basically a decent dissection of Garrick's issues. It makes the show seem like Deep Space Nine pharmacology, but so be it. It says, Ezri dealing with other people's problems was rather convenient. I guess when it comes to staffing space stations, ask your captain if Ezri is right for you. I see what you did there. Fun stuff. I like it.
Ezri can cause diarrhea, stomach cramps, bloating,
Don't use
bleeding
Ezri.
to death.
Don't use Ezri, basically, if you are alive, if you've ever lived for more than 5 seconds.
Eye bulging, finger tingling.
If you had anything, don't use it. Zathras, of course, says, I'll give my review since I was asleep. F-. I know nothing about counseling, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Well, that's good enough for me. And B5 is better, buddy.
Oh, God, Zath.
Well said, buddy.
So
well, I haven't seen our chief engineers. Where you at, dude? You got a review for that one? Or if not, we're going to tick tock. Yes, he has nothing to say about that episode. Maybe he's busy. So, 5, 4, going once, talk going twice, going 3 times. 3 times a lady. There he is. I knew he wouldn't let us down. C-, more tedious drama on DS9 of sci-fi instead of sci-fi. But by this point, we're stuck with his theme. Robinson as Garrick is the only saving grace in this freaking episode. He didn't say freaking, I did. Nicole DeBoer has an almost impossible task in replacing Jadzia, and the writers aren't helping much. My usual favorite Worf is unhinged and disappointing. Ezri is such a mess, I almost expected her to shout out, there is no Dana. There is no Dana, only soul. There is no Dana, only soul. Yeah. So
The thing is, Mark, is that he reminds me of Winchester from MASH. And so when I was first introduced to him in TNG, that's actually who I identified the most with, even though I grew up in abject poverty. It wasn't about affluence or social status. It was actually about interest. And so it's really nice. That's one of the things that I've always loved about Star Trek. You know, like I wouldn't know about Spinoza if I didn't watch Star Trek, the original series. So the fact that the old Worf was this person who was naturally attuned to fine arts and just really liked them and was very cultured, but that he also came from very modest means, and he could go and play poker and also kick some butt, I thought was very interesting. I think making him stupid ruined the character. At least it ruined the character for me. I did not enjoy dumb Worf. I enjoyed Winchester Worf. Winchester Worf was like a guy who I would hang out with. This Worf is a moron. It's like they turn him more into, I don't know. I can't say Beauty and the Beast, because even Beauty and the Beast is intelligent. He basically operates a library. So I don't know. I don't like dumb Worf.
So instead of Winchester, he was Frank Burns. Problem is, I like Frank Burns way better than Winchester. I couldn't stand
Well, anyways.
I know what you're saying now. Well, there you go. We're ready to move on to our final episode of the evening.
We are.
All right. While we do that, I will go get some medicine.
Okay.
And it is, of course, Kill Me at the holosuite.
Oh, I have so much to say about this one.
So do I, but I'll go get some medicine while you handle it.
Okay, take me out to the is season 7, episode 4, a production code 554. We've all been watching this, unfortunately, since October 19th, 1998. I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia. It's probably going to suck. I haven't pre-read it, so that will make it suck even more. But don't worry, we'll get through it. It's poorly written most of the time, so bear with me, folks. The starship Tecumseh docks at Deep Space Nine for repairs. Its captain Solok is a longtime rival of Sisko, who believes that his all-Vulcan crew are superior in every respect. He challenges Sisko to a baseball game in the holosuite. Sisko accepts, recruiting his crew and friends on the station to form a team, even though he has only 2 weeks to get the team into shape, and only his son Jake and his girlfriend Cassidy have played the game before. Sisko's team trains hard and suffers injuries. When Sisko dismisses the inept Rom from the team, the squad nearly quits in protest. Sisko admits to Yates why he is taking Solok's challenge so seriously. At Starfleet Academy, Sisko drunkenly challenged Solok to a wrestling match after Solok provoked Sisko by mocking humans' illogical, emotion-driven behavior. Why? Like, Vulcans are way stronger than human beings. What, is Sisko a dum-dum now too? Solok won the match easily, and later used the incident as evidence that Vulcans are superior to humans, publishing multiple peer-reviewed papers on the wrestling match as an example. Yates quickly tells the truth to the whole team, making them understand just how much it means to Sisko. When the game begins, the Solok's team immediately build up a considerable lead. Sisko gets into an altercation with the umpire, security chief Odo, and is thrown out of the game for touching him. They say for laying a finger on him. I'm not going to say that. For touching him. When Rom's son Nog throws out a runner who failed to touch home plate, Sisko is reminded of why he loves baseball in the first place. It's unpredictability. Seeing Rom's pride in his son and dejection at being excluded from the game, Cisco decides to allow him to play. Near the end and down 10-0, the Niners, Cisco's team, are desperate to score a run. Nog makes it to third base. That'll be the last time Nog ever makes it to third base. Just kidding. And Rom
Good
has
one.
his first at bat. Rom accidentally hits a perfect bunt, which brings Nog home, giving the Niners their only run for a 10-1 loss. The team celebrates. This team's celebration confuses Solak, who protests to Odo, but also touches him, so Odo ejects him too. After the game, the crew relax at Quark's bar, toasting the triumph of team spirit over Vulcan's superiority. Solak protests their celebration as a manufactured victory, only to be mocked by the Niners. The team presents Cisco with a souvenir of the game, a baseball that his whole team has signed.
You there? You're just trying to cheer me up. I guess I got to do this, don't I? Are you there, number one?
Yep, just do it, boss.
All right. First,
I mean, come on.
bullying is illogical.
It is.
Sports, with humans especially, is illogical. Wrestling humans is illogical. Baseball is illogical. Being a dick, to be a dick for no reason, to being basically Finnegan, is illogical.
Mm-hmm.
Vulcans don't do that!
It's true.
Sorry. I'm sorry about everyone's ears. Vulcans. Right there. Right there is the episode. As soon as it comes across the table, you're supposed to say, all right, excuse me for a second. Which one of you guys came with the Vulcan playing baseball? Could you come over for a second? Yeah. Vulcan. Oh, that was me, sir. Okay. Well, look, I like baseball too, but you know what? You're freaking fired. If you think that we should make an episode with Vulcans playing baseball, I mean, other aliens, sure. You want Cisco to have an old, an alien of some sort who bullied him in the academy, fine. But let me understand, you want to make it Vulcans. First of all, it's dumb to do a baseball episode. Anybody, but forget about
put this on the marquee.
Vulcans.
Look at what Eric just said.
Vulcans. Have you ever watched Star Trek? Ever? I mean, I know they can be a-holes, but they don't mean it. But they're not rude. They're not abusive. They're not rude. I mean, what happened to logic?
I don't know.
They'll play chess, but they won't by the way, even if they played baseball, they wouldn't take any pleasure. By the way, wait a minute now. That's right. We find out in this episode that this guy is basically a Vulcan supremacist and hates human. I too felt a brave surge of racial bigotry, most distasteful, as Spock once said. Vulcans are now supremacists and bigots.
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead with your notes because I can't take it. I mean, I think this may be the episode I hate the most. And by the way, not because it's not entertaining. It's just I can't watch it and even suspend any disbelief to have a good time because it's Vulcans doing it. Any other aliens, I'd have been like, it's cute, whatever. But it's Vulcans. I can't take it.
Well, I just think it's so wonderful that we finally get to see the Vulcans because they're not involved with the Dominion War. Neither is anybody else in the over 100 planets involved in the Federation. Not the Bolians, not the Andorians, not the Vulcans, not anyone. It's crap. Anyways, here are my notes. Oh, look, it's the Bad News Bears. This is not Star Trek. This is definitely not science fiction. What it is exactly is what is called in writing the misfit sports comedy. That's what this is. It's an actual trope, like a rom-com, like a romantic comedy. This is a misfits sports comedy. I know that's quite the mouthful, but that's what this is. This is not science fiction, and it's not Star Trek. You know how everyone, how I'm always talking about the fact that Julian becomes a genius and a nincompoop, like from episode
Alternatively.
to episode. What I
Right.
love about this episode is that Julian is supposed to have genetically enhanced eye-hand coordination, and yet he's a completely useless nincompoop. So, surprise, surprise, everyone! Surprise, surprise! It's season 7. Julian's a nincompoop again. And then I put this. I put these are not Vulcans. These people do not behave like Vulcans at all. And Solok is openly emotional. There are some other things that I take issue with. He is a Starfleet officer who commands the Starfleet vessel, the USS Tacambra. Why is everyone on board Vulcan? Now, that might make you pause and go, yeah, how come everyone is Vulcan? Well, it's not the first time.
Not the first time.
Because in the Immunity Syndrome,
The Intrepid, yeah.
the USS Intrepid had an all Vulcan crew, right? And we know this because, Spock says like that he could feel.
Right. 400 Vulcans.
Yeah. But the thing is that made sense when science fiction writers were writing it, because in the 23rd century, it would be very diplomatic. It would be amazingly diplomatic to have the USS Intrepid being serviced, being operated by an all Vulcan crew. But by the 24th century, it seems antithetical to the ethos of Starfleet
Right.
and the Federation, because now it's supposed to be this wonderful, these diverse crews bringing in all of these diverse abilities. So I think it's kind of sloppy, and I think it's weird. They don't act Vulcan.
It's
And
isolationist. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't buy that in the 24th century we would have an all Vulcan crew. In the 23rd century, we would definitely have an all Vulcan crew, because we're building up our trust. We're saying, look, take
Yeah.
this vessel and act on our behalf, and learn our science, learn our technology, and do it through our machinery. So it's actually quite intellectual. It's kind of cool that that's in the Immunity Syndrome. But I'm sorry, if you're a science fiction author and you're a Star Trek author, you know that doesn't work in the 24th century. It just doesn't. The idea that this is a purely Vulcan crew who do not act Vulcan at all. They're all Starfleet officers, and they're on this Tacambra, is complete and utter. They're not Vulcan. This is crap. crap, as Zathras would say. And that's all I put in my notes, because I don't want to even dignify this episode with further response. We are watching the Misfits sports comedy, and we're watching them destroy Vulcans. And it's very obvious. It is very obvious that this is the primordial ooze from which the filth has risen. Okay? This is 100%. The filth people came to this and said, oh, look, let's do a show.
So what you're basically trying to say is... Yeah, I agree. Oh, God. I
just can't do it. F. It's an F, boss. Captain. My captain. It's an
yes,
F.
I got F minus F E G Z. Look, you start off. First of all, let's just forget the Vulcan thing for just a tiny second and say you don't care about that. I mean, which is ridiculous. Let's do that for 1 second. Even if you don't, how many times? Because let's go to something else I've been talking about this show. We're 7 seasons in now, the beginning of season 7 anyway. And how many freaking comedy, lighthearted, silly episodes in the middle of the war are you going to have? Because you've done it. It's not like, again, I talk about this all the time. The original series has 3 freaking comedy episodes. Technically 3.5. But and even TNG, they didn't do it every other freaking week. Every other week, you can count on some goofy ass TV sitcom episode of this show. And even if I didn't care about the Vulcan thing, because I know people that love this episode, and that's fine. You love it, whatever.
Why? Why doesn't Jesus walk over to the Vulcan and say, "I understand you, my son"? Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Yep.
Am I not my brother's keeper?
You got me.
It's Jesus.
Hey,
You're
Michael
playing baseball with Jesus.
Jesus Christ. So now I will ask our wonderful friends in the chat. If you have whatever rating you may have, and look, don't listen to us. If you love it, fine. You know how we are here. Just that I'll put this out for the people who are new listening. We have our opinions, and we don't hold back, but you don't have to hold back on yours either. If you think it's the greatest episode ever, you love it, hey, go for it. That's
turn
fine.
The other cheek.
All
Why
episodes,
didn't Jesus tell them to turn the other cheek?
And while number one is starring your comments, I'll go to our buddy. I know Michael Beacon's popped up in the chat, but I have your review right here, Michael, so I will go ahead and read yours.
Space Jesus.
Our good friend Michael Beacom says he gives take me out to the holosuite. He gives a C. He says, one look at the baseball diamond and I am on my feet yelling B. I'm not sure exactly what word that is. Bullshit, I guess he means. You could have just wrote bullshit. It's a this episode's bullshit to me. I don't know.
I'm on mute, but I'm laughing really loud.
I think that's what he wrote. He wrote B in a bunch of. I'm guessing that's the word with a bunch of stars. He could confirm or deny. Where is this holodeck? Yeah, it would have to be bigger than a starship cargo hold. Yeah, that's a good point. All I can say is I felt cheated. We did not get to see the Vulcan team closely. I wanted to hear them quote the odds and watch as they evaluated each player on the other team for their point of view. So many squandered opportunities. That isn't also, as much as I hate what they did to the Vulcans anyway, other than Solar Face or whatever, and he's nothing. He's a nothing character. None of the other Vulcans even talk or have any kind of personality. I know they're Vulcans, but you know what I mean. So many squandered opportunities, he says. You can tell they were just giving the cast a day off, so to speak. So this must mean the rest of the season is going to be dark, difficult, and a real slog for them. Maybe for us too. Who knows? I don't know, Michael. So let's see what we have here from our friends.
Look, Mom. Space Jesus is playing baseball.
Space Jesus. Cisco Jesus. All right. Midnight's Oblivion said this was the dumbest episode of all time. That's against some stiff competition there. I got we have the AI show, but he has at the top. I'm seeing number 2 on his comment.
Let me go find out.
It was at 11:54.
Go check.
If
got
you could
start somehow.
Maybe you got unstarred. Okay.
Yeah, you go. It's there now, boss.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
The AI show says C. Alternative title: The Bad News Vulcans. I like it. Admittedly, a fun episode because of the combination of baseball and the holodeck. At times, more Billy Martin than Ted Williams. Good references again in terms of attitude. Very Billy Martin. Vulcans are Billy Martin. Jesus, I haven't heard that name forever. For some reason, I imagine deleted scenes for this episode where Ferengi are taking bets on both teams and cleaning up. Nog is doing his version of Roy Hobbs. Apparently, there is no joy in Mudville. Always with the references. You were excellent, sir. Zathras says F-. Crap. He says, another sucky episode. If you want to watch good episodes, watch Babylon 5. You're right. It's way better. JMS is laughing at this Shiite crap. Crap. I'll say it again. Babylon 5 is better than DS9. Look, if it's in a court of law, you're going to win, buddy. I'm with you. I hate it. Ugh. Enigmatic Drop Bear says F. What on earth did I just watch?
Space Jesus.
What on earth? It wasn't even close to Earth, buddy. What? But you knew that. What is this episode trying to say? DS9 is crewed by losers that relish their losses, that bullies win the day, and that's okay. Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't pass the Gene Roddenberry test. It doesn't pass the Kirk test either.
That baseball is a game that transcends both time and species. That the Federation is permeated by members with long-running grudges. That Vulcans need to be deconstructed and redefined. Whoa, no kidding. Yep. And look, those same, as much as I love Enterprise, some of the ways they portrayed Vulcans early on that show was different, but at least it was many years previous. It wasn't like
that's
the 24th
why I don't
century.
mind it, because it shows the growing pains between two species, right? But at this time,
no, this time, yes, ridiculous. They didn't have a decent script, so went with a reject that was relegated to the cylindrical filing cabinet. Yes, I think that's it. A flaming reject script retrieved from the garbage bin. I'm with you. I hate it, man.
In the bin. Get back into the bin.
Jildo says, A. Solak is the universe's most emotional Vulcan, fixated on a lifelong adolescent rivalry. Maybe he subscribes to some old readings from Cybok? Maybe. Anyway, he's far from achieving Kolinar. Well, that's that for sure. He'll never get there. That's true, Jill. The crew's capabilities to pull together to achieve a fantastic loss against the Vulcans nicely paralleled their similarly effective teamwork against the Dominion, which also leads to losses. Oh, there we go. Sorry. There you go. Hang on a second, Jill. All right. In effect, this was just pure fun and joy and a manufactured triumph. I also loved that Max was actually a fantastic baseball player, but still played Rom as a poor one so well. I didn't even know that until someone put that in the chat, or I think Mark put that in the chat. That's pretty funny. Lisa says F-. Slow, boring baseball and sci-fi. Please don't. Just don't. Premise, it's how you play the game. That is for unathletic contributors in sports. Watch this at double speed, and it is much funnier this way. Nice one, Lisa.
They benched Jesus.
They did. JG Kirk, F. My complaints would be an pick if typed out. So there's a few of the lowlights. Here's a few of the lowlights. A week in line for a warp core upgrade is not inefficient. A racist Vulcan captain in the Starfleet. Yes, exactly. He was a racist. I thought racism was illogical. Vulcans versus an alien medley because of there aren't enough humans on the station to make an all-human team. And by the way, I'll also point out, not only did the genetically engineered human play like crap, Klingons are supposed to be a lot more athletic than humans, and Worf is like this expert shot and this expert with a bat lift. He can't knock home runs every 5 seconds. Anyway, every scene is a Warp 10 level cringe. This episode strikes out waka waka waka. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Simply Steve says F. Real title, the Turok Nor 9. Keep sports out of my sci-fi. Hey, let's pause the Dominion War. Vol cannot play logically games like baseball. 4D chess, more their style. My goodness, it's bad. Yes. They should have made this episode football instead, like The Longest Yard, and then it would have been really messy. Our buddy Kal-El has a different view. He says he's got an Eshpick for us here. He says A+. Although I am in complete agreement that DS9 shouldn't be a comedic series, but should still have humorous moments, I actually found myself thoroughly enjoying this episode nonetheless. We see Cisco's competitive streak take hold once again, although we should be thankful it's just a baseball game this time. And that's interesting. And the audience even gets the backstory of where this particular.
Can I interrupt for 2 eggs of a puppy's tail? I'll be
Yeah.
fast. Cavantino is here, and he has some comments that I have starred so that we can address them. And somebody who I don't think has ever been here, my friend Crease, 1984, is here. Crease! It's so good to see you. Everyone say hello to Crease. Everyone say hello to Cavantino.
Crease and Cavatino, welcome. Good to see you, though. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. Rivalry with Solak. Oh, so what? Where backstory with this particular rivalry with Solak came from. Solak may come from an enlightened race who embraced logic long ago, but I guess it doesn't preclude the fact that the Vulcans have their share of jerks too. Being a jerk is illogical. Sorry, I had to disagree with you on that one, buddy. But they could have written it so many different ways. Cisco shows his growth as a character in this particular episode. He starts by taking. By the way, again, like it's pointed out, the guy's a racist too. So I mean, anyway, he starts by taking the game too seriously, and he's determined to beat Solak at any cost, even ejecting Rom from the team. To finally remembering that it's just a game and ultimately robbing Solak of his victory through manufactured triumph. The humorous moments actually had me laughing throughout the episode. From Odo taking his own duties as umpire way too seriously and himself to the taunts from the Niners, such as Worf's death to opposition. This was just a really fun episode, and after some really questionable episodes during the last season, it was just a welcome break for me as a member of the viewing audience. And I will tell you this, Kal-El, I unapologetically hate the episode, but you're not alone. It's very beloved by a lot of people. There's absolutely no question about that. So don't feel just because some of us here hate it. Don't feel alone, because again, I've known many people and read many people. They even put baseball caps of this episode out there. So what are you gonna do?
And it's important. It's important too, right, for everyone to realize that we're not here to build consensus. So we're not here to convert anyone's opinion or to say that one opinion is right or one opinion is wrong. And I think that it's a natural thing for people to want people to agree with them, but we're not here to force anyone to agree with us. That's why this show is 100% organic. We do not meet privately prior to this show to discuss what our thoughts are, what kind of ratings we're going to give, any of the details. What is happening right now is happening live. A difference of opinion is definitely a part of reality. And so, consensus building in an international show that has usually between 200 and 300 people at it is, I don't think it's realistic. I think it's nice to try and do that, but it's just really important to realize that when all is said and done, this episode will involve 200 to 300 people who watch Star Trek. So expecting everyone to agree is I think you're setting yourself up for failure.
Oh no, we have a lot. We always have disagreements here. Like I say, there's some episodes that I hate that I happen to know for a fact they're very, very popular that a lot of people love, and then even vice versa. There's some I like that a lot of people don't like. So that's the way it goes. And that's one. This is a beloved episode of a lot of people. Hell, I'd even own that baseball cap just because it looks cool. But that's just me. Mr. Angel says Z-. Sometimes I hate holodeck episodes so damn much, even more than lame time travel tropes. Just hear me rant when we reach the Voyager Hirogen holodeck episodes. Warning. We have been warned, sir, and we understand. Hungry Boy says rating F at minus. I loathe this more than Move Along Home, which at least didn't backtrack on classic alien psychology or prey upon non-sci-fi sports ball tropes. Bad News Babylon 5 Bears. There you go. Nice. Wendy Trumba Warrior says F. The bad news bears with DS9 characters. The writers, it worked in 1976 and we're out of material. What the Yep. Right there with you.
Hey, Cavatino, Cavalryman Che, I'm going to ask you to settle down in the chat, please, which I've actually never done before on this show ever, but I'm going to ask you to settle down right now. You have asked us a question, and I start a couple of your comments, and Clubby's going to get to them, but you have to wait your turn, number one. And number two, I'm saying that you're holding your damn temper and all these other things that you're putting in the chat is not appropriate. Or asking who has a degree in theology. I've actually studied a great deal of sociology, and I studied world religions in university and in college. And I also attended Christian school my entire life, which means that I went to Bible school, right? And I studied religion in Christianity and open non-denominational Christianity, as well as Catholicism. So I need you to just relax and not do yelling all caps and get all very upset about this. We're joking about Benjamin Sisko being space Jesus because over the last 3 episodes, they've set it up that Benjamin Sisko, these non-corporeal, omnipotent beings, apparently have had this planned for Sisko his entire life, and a being entered into Sisko's mother's body, forced her to be with a man who she didn't want to be with. She gave birth to Sisko, and then the woman who was forced to do all of this abandoned her son and abandoned the man who she was forced to have intercourse with against her will because she was possessed by this god. And so we're poking fun of it because it's a pretty serious topic that Gene Roddenberry would not have allowed. So there's no need to throw out threats, and there's no need to ask for theology degrees or anything else that's going on with you right now. You got to slow down. We respect everyone here, and there are a lot of academic people here who have been to university, and we're all here to respect each other's opinions, not control one another or threaten one another. You have no temper to have, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, Cavi, look, we appreciate you being here and appreciate everyone being here. Be civil. You don't have to yell in caps about everything. And if someone expresses an opinion you don't like, take it easy, take it in stride, and just realize that we allow all opinions here and respect all of them as long as you're being respectful, and be more respectful to my first officer, if you would mind. And we appreciate it. And we like having you here if you could do that. So Starlog in the MCU got ripped off. Starlog in the MCU is a little bit different from the one from the comics in some ways. But anyway, that's another topic. Let's see, where were we? Okay. We ready? We're good to go back, number one. You ready?
Yeah, boss. Let's what are we doing right now? We're gonna go back to the starred ones. Yeah.
Yes. You ready? Are you good to go? Do you have anything else you need to say?
Yeah, just Che is still yelling in the chat and freaking out. You got to calm down, honey. Seriously. And swearing and acting like you're upset that people have opinions other than yours is not going to work.
Right.
And people are responding to you and they're being incredibly kind. Please be kind back. And if you want to talk about things, but preaching and yelling and swearing and threatening will not work here. It won't work in this environment.
Yeah, if you feel, I don't know why I have no idea why you feel insulted as a Catholic, but I don't really want to litigate that right here. I mean, a joke is a joke, and just calling him that, we're kind of just poking fun at the episode. I think you're being a little sensitive, to be honest, but
and he obviously hasn't been listening from the beginning, because I was raised in a devoutly religious home, and I had a mother who, not only am I baptized, but I had a mother who taught Sunday school, and I'm actually an agnostic. And every time I bring up religion on this show, we talk about the fact that Gene Roddenberry did not want religion made fun of in Star Trek, so much so that he got into a huge argument with Michael Piller about it, and they fought about it a lot. And so Gene Roddenberry didn't want these things happening. Had you been listening to the show from the very beginning, you would know that I actually defended religion, saying that it is completely inappropriate to make the Bajoran people automatically start worshiping the quote unquote devil, the Pa race, the minute that the wormhole closes. This whole thing is exactly why Gene Roddenberry didn't want to go in this direction. But anyway, you've jumped in. There are lots of Catholics here. We are not against religion here. We are agnostic and extremely respectful towards religion. But I will not put up with you threatening me or other people, swearing or saying you have a temper. I'm not afraid of your temper, honey. Just settle down and engage in conversation and do it in a productive way.
Exactly what you said. Not only were we not attacking Catholics here, we have many of our fine friends who are Catholics. And both of us were raised in very religious homes and stuff. So nobody was being attacked. No religion was being attacked. In fact, if anything, we're defending our religious friends because in this show, however, sometimes kind of takes shots at them, to be honest with you. But anyway, but if that misunderstanding is cleared up, please feel free to hang around. But if not, hey, that's up to you. But don't.
I was baptized at St. Mary's. So I was raised Catholic. I've absolutely nothing, and I'm Irish, dude, and not just like somebody who's like from Ireland, like regular people. I'm Indigenous Irish from South Ireland. I have immense respect for Catholicism. So just know that, and you can't assume other people's intentions or jump in at the end of a conversation and assume that people in the chat are not respectful. Everyone here is very respectful. You should listen to what ED is saying to you, Enigmatic Drop Bear. You should listen to Lisa and others. These are very kind people who are entertaining your thoughts and your worries and your concerns over this conversation. You should be receptive to them. They are very kind, wonderful people. And yeah, anyway.
We're going to finish up with our reviews now, folks. Let's see here. Shooter says A-. This one is pure fun, stupid but fun. I just can't help but enjoy it. Scotch flavored gum, is that real? There's maybe it is. I don't know. There's something wrong about arrogant Vulcans. DS9 does not do Vulcans justice. Yeah, that's what I say. Wait until you see what they do with the next Vulcan, and don't forget the gun runner. Huh? Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the gun. Huh? At least baseball has a long history on the station and makes some sense. I just wish the reason was better. Yeah, I mean the guy. What did he know? Did he study baseball all that time just because he hated Cisco that much? It's so illogical. Did they have the rules read so all of us nerds and geeks would know what's going on? As an Aussie, I didn't know what a bunt really was before this episode. Now I do.
Wow, well, that's so cool.
Even though it's played in other countries, that's a good point there, Shooter.
So what do they call it?
They call it a bunt.
I mean, but what do they call it in Australia?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they play baseball there, do they?
Oh, wow, that is so crazy. I just learned something.
Don't play it. You know, it's an American sport. I guess they play it in Canada, as you know, and in Japan and places like that. But other than maybe seeing it on TV, I don't know if they even play it there. They play cricket, don't they?
Wendy just said that there are whiskey-infused toothpicks, and even spelled whiskey the Irish way. Imagine having a whiskey-infused toothpick after a steak. That would be good.
Yep. Sean Carter says, F. Every Vulcan would be hitting 800-foot home runs. Yeah. And their pitchers would be hurling fastballs at 125 miles per hour easy. Yeah. It's crazy. JT Kirk Spock's brain versus where are you versus Vulcan baseball.
I know, not a review, but I thought it was cute and I thought it would make everyone laugh.
You threw me a curveball there. Sean Carter says, add an extra FF for the gargantuan holodeck. Come on now. Yeah, that's a big holodeck there. That's crazy.
And props for saying gargantuan.
Gargantua. I remember the War of the Gargantuans. He talked in some movies.
Yeah.
Crap, says Wendy, Trouble Warrior. I forgot to add Code Brown to my comment. I don't know what that means. This episode has forced me to pour another drink in an attempt to forget it. Oh no. The Ron's Wrencher Eric K says Lisa and I give lots of F. Whoa.
It's good stuff.
But Chief Engineer Mark D with a C. Pop on in whenever you feel like it, dude, if you feel like it. Says C+. I love baseball, but do we need baseball game in Star Trek? I'd say no, but maybe it would have worked as a minor plot thread to an episode. I also don't think a Vulcan version of Finnegan taunting Cisco. God, I hate that episode. Well, excuse me. What? Oh, Cisco. Yeah, it sucks. There are some fun moments, and at least we get the classic lead aside. How about how out of shape are the DS9 crew that they can't play baseball without getting hurt? Cisco better up their exercise routine. The problem is that DS9 goes to the comedy cell too often, and the water is getting polluted. Yeah,
it's so true.
Yes, sir. Too much damn comedy, I say.
I think we have a late one, boss. You got it?
No. Is that one?
Yep, that's the one.
Yes, the word was bullshit. Okay, yeah, but I blipped it in case. Yeah, sometimes this episode deserves it. So there you go.
That was very thoughtful of you.
I
didn't
understand
want you to have to read a profanity on air. Very thoughtful, Michael. Thank you.
After more opinions, I lower my rating to a D-. Don't do that on my account, buddy, but I hear you.
It's funny.
I hear you, sir. So did any of our Aussie friends let us know if they play?
Well, Enigmatic Drop Bear was saying there's a baseball league in Australia, but it's really small. And so only the people who have signed up for softball and junior high and stuff like that, that's when they learn about baseball terms.
Joan Heck says non-contact U.S. sports, basketball, baseball, are popular in South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan. Yeah, I got you. That I knew, I think. What'd you say?
Me?
I'm sorry, what did you say about cricket? Yeah, you play cricket, right?
Oh no, I didn't say anything about that, boss. I was just saying that an Enigmatic Drop Bear was saying that there is a baseball league in Australia, but it's really small. He says that basically you have to sign up for softball in junior high, and then in junior high they teach you about baseball.
I got you. Our buddy Stephen M. Kal-El says, "I'm not sure if you already saw this, but I've never felt ostracized by either you, Raquel, or Mark D with a C because of my opinion. That's what makes the live stream so great." Well, thank you. You guys all make the live stream great, in my opinion, especially guys like you, Kal-El, who's a good friend. There are many times, where you give a great review, whether I agree with you or not. I always like what you do. We don't always agree on the episodes, but that's not what we're here for. We're not here to agree. We're here to have fun. And we wouldn't ask for everyone's opinion if we just wanted to give our own. There'd be no point. I would just not even look at them, not even read them. We just sit here and do our cold read of our opinions, and not even if we didn't care what you all say, then we wouldn't read them out. So
yeah. And Kal-El, like I said to you earlier, and I meant it, and I know that you know that I meant it. And you said, thanks for that, Raquel. I truly meant that at the earlier part of the show where I was saying that the thing that I love about your reviews is that you're willing to engage with the highs and the lows of the episode, and you allow that to temper your opinions. And so you can engage with the ideas. And of course, you already know that I love that sort of thing because I love the Socratic dialectic. I love these discourses where you bring in all this evidence, you start asking questions, and then you apply the evidence to it. And then you may come out with a different opinion, but you're establishing truth or your own truth or the truth or fact by that evidence, massaging the evidence, asking questions, and engaging with others. And that's why I love the way you do your reviews. I love your high point and your low point. I think it's absolutely terrific.
Indeed, it's just, and look who's here.
Hello. Hail to the chat. Hi, everyone.
Eric K says,
very good. Thank you.
Larry, remember 6 months? gifted 5 Clobbering Times memberships.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Larry.
Larry, thank you, sweetheart.
Very
Any
nice.
friends who happen to be here, if you haven't already, please avail yourselves of those. If you
I
know
love
how.
Larry.
I
He's
don't
so
know how,
generous. Thank you so much, Larry. And thank you, Eric K. Even though I should scold you, I hope you're not getting too tired. If
Yeah,
at
how's he
any
doing?
time,
Hope he's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Appreciate
yeah.
you, brother.
Love you, honey. Mark D with a C. Damn it, Mark. You went out for steak dinner this evening. I don't think that's too private. I may
There were
reveal
no
that.
clams.
Did
no
you
clams.
encounter Wendy's whiskey flavored toothpicks?
I did not, but those sound really good.
Right? She was talking about them earlier. I want whiskey flavored toothpicks for when I'm eating steak.
I don't know, but
Right?
if all I got to say to Mark C is,
Jake, if I never see another clam,
It'll be too soon.
Too much in that one, yeah.
It's like the best
having-
of all the episodes.
Yeah. Actually, we're having dinner the other night, and we had sushi, which I knew. Thankfully, I didn't invite Clobbering Times over for that one. And I said, "Pass the sea bugs." And someone was like, "Oh, gross! What are sea bugs?" The shrimp. We had some deep fried. They were deep fried, so I don't know. They were pretty awesome. Deep fried shrimp.
Are
So
you calling
I was like,
clams sea tongues? Because wouldn't it be great if you were like out for dinner and you were like,
Sing
pass
tongues.
the sea tongues and I'll have some sea bugs on the side.
Yeah, so my
said,
kids were like, "Who came up with that?" I'm like, "Oh, my good friend
Wow.
came up with the
Hey,
term."
Katie.
They're all laughing.
Katie's here. Good evening, Katie.
Katie says, wow, I'm super late. Went on a little trip to see a speaker. Oh, cool.
Nice.
I'll only rate the baseball episode. One of my absolute favorite DS9 episodes is, a matter of fact, my first episode of DS9. One of 2. Well, you know what, Katie? Even though I hated it more than any episode ever made, just because you like it, I'll like it just a little bit, just for you, because I love you. I'm just kidding. I'm lying to you, Katie. I still hate it, but I love you.
How's school, Katie? I hope everything's going great. I wonder if she's in
Yeah, I
summer
hope so.
classes. I went
I hope
straight
so.
through. I when I was in university, I always went to school in the summer. I always did the summer semester.
That was one of 2, she said. So she's got another one coming, I guess.
Oh, here it is.
There we go.
It's up, boss.
Enjoyable and levity that was sorely needed after Jadzia died. Loved Cassidy sneaking on Cisco and the overall camaraderie. You're out of here. Don't you think it's idiotic that Vulcans were being illogical? Vulcans wouldn't play baseball or being they wouldn't be bullies or any of that stuff. That's the only reason I hate it, Katie. But
You know what, Mr. I have a clip just for that. You know what, Mr.
and I wish I'd have played football.
Oh, she can't stay to talk. She says, guys,
from a false assumption. I'm a Vulcan. I have no ego to bruise.
Good
Right?
point. All right,
that's
Katie. Love you, dear.
Did you guys see that? Yeah. So yeah, really tired. So I'm gonna pop out. Love you all.
Right.
Well, you know what? We all love you too, hun.
Baseball episode 9 out of 10. Well, you are a 15,000 out of 10, Katie. We're glad to see you and hope you have a great week and have a happy Memorial Day weekend. So, yeah, that was the perfect quote, considering.
Yes, I have no ego to
Vulcan.
bruise.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was watching the episode tonight, and I
Vulcans
did
never
watch
bluff.
it. I did watch it at double speed, like Lisa.
Good.
So I could get through
Mark.
it. Well, I do that sometimes with the episodes. You've seen them a few times. You can speed it up on the computer. Say computer double speed, and yeah, I mean there's some fun bits, but yeah, the Vulcans wouldn't have that kind of ego. They would maybe just want to play the game or be curious about learning the game and knowing all the rules.
Would they write books about being racist?
No,
About
I mean,
humans
the
being
other stuff
inferior?
is
Never.
yeah, that stuff is ridiculous. But I mean, I could see them maybe being wanting to play the game or learn the game or just to interact with humans, but not, all the other stuff is hogwash. That's why I clipped that clip from Spock tonight, because that's what instantly came to my mind when I was thinking about. That's what gets sometimes you can have a kind of a clunky story, but what really gets people is when characters are written that don't match how you know them and and the true essence of the character. Like, we make fun of Alternative Factor, and one reason why it's such a bad episode is because the writing is so poor, and the characters are not the characters in many ways. And some of the lines you're kind of shouting at the screen, like Kirk would never say that, or Spock would never say that. That's what really gets
Right.
you more. Me as a me personally, more aggravated / upset when the writing is off and the writers don't get the character or write the character incorrectly versus, all right, well, that story wasn't so good, but I can forgive it, or okay, so that was a C episode, but let's move along. But when a character does something like Worf, as you talked about, Worf
You mean move along
lifting
home?
yeah, move along
Sorry.
when he lifts Bashir up by the neck and threatens him. I mean, be court-martialed for doing something like that in the military, or at least come up with you'd have a severe reprimand, and Worf would know never to do that. So that's
Yeah.
a different character maybe you'd say would lose it and do that, but not Worf. Yeah, so that was very disappointing.
Yep. No Vulcans in this episode. And you notice how they don't even Solok or whatever. His character's already completely garbage, so he barely has anything to do in the episode. You see him once at the beginning, and then maybe like on the field a little bit, and then that bit at the end. But he's nothing. He's a nothing character.
The companion actually addresses that.
Boy. Hopefully next week I'll let you all. Oh, well, I hope so. What you're up to this summer? Well, absolutely, Katie. Remember, we're getting close to your show. We're not too far off from Voyager for V'ger. Getting there. Not 12, season away, right?
Yep.
So live long and prosper.
Let me read a line from the companion. Bear was a little disappointed with regards to Cisco's storyline with Solok, stating, "If there's anything about the show I didn't think was successful, so we didn't do enough with the Vulcans. The lead protagonist, who comes in so strong in the beginning, is absent through big chunks of the episode. We didn't realize it until we saw a rough cut of the show, and by then it was too late. So the structure is weird. The thing with Cisco and the Vulcan goes about halfway through the show, and then it becomes Rom's story. And the fact the show works as well as it does is due to Max, who really makes you care about Rom. Deep Space Nine companion. I can't remember. I didn't write down the page number, but yeah, it's and they, that's what interesting when even the writers admit it, right? When they, oops, we messed up. Yeah, that doesn't look so good on them. So you exactly picked out the right. The right thought on that one.
I hate it. By the way, we have a question from Cal L. He says, by the way, have any of us seen the new Star Trek Resurgence game? I've heard about it, but only vaguely, Cal. He said it takes place in post-Dominion War era in year 2380, and it's pre-filth. I mean, is in the sense that it excludes filth? If so, sounds interesting. I saw some stuff from it, but I don't play games much, but if they ever did a Trek game that had no filth in it, that'd be something I might look into. I'm just terrible at games, man. But have you played it, Kal-El? What's the deal? You like it, or what? Are you a gamer? I don't know if you were a gamer or not. Oh, you put a link in there, huh? Okay.
Yep, that's it. Yep, Star Trek Resurgence. Yep.
I've heard.
I might buy it this weekend. It's on sale on Epic Games. If Epic Games would like to sponsor Clobbering Times, contact him. But you can use a coupon this week. I guess it's a brand new game that came out. I watched the trailers. It looks good, and especially if you like adventure games, Star Trek. I don't know how much of an adventure game this is versus first-person shooter. It looks like an RPG to me, but
I don't know how to play those.
With some action, but some of my favorite games, Star Trek games, adventure games, is right. The game tells a story. It doesn't have to be a pew pew pew. As much as I love that, but it
is for me. I need to actually doing something.
You need to be doing something, but check out Steam and GOG, which has some great old Star Trek games you can get for real cheap. And maybe I'll buy this weekend, treat myself if it's on sale. I'll let you guys know how it is. Yep. But looks good. Yep. Thanks for the question.
Yes, indeed. I love the 20th anniversary Star Trek PC game, adventure game, says of Jill. Yeah, I remember that. A friend of mine had those. Boy, that's a long time ago. Holy crap! Yeah, and the games were a little bit on the more primitive side back then. Killel says, "Farmer Times is from what I'm seeing for yes." He says, "I don't have the game yet, but it looks like it doesn't include anything from the filth. Good. Yes, I've been a gamer for many. Okay, cool. Well, with that, folks, been on for a good while, and I know it's everybody's got a big weekend planned, and I know number one's got to be tired. She's been working all day, so we're going to start working on getting her out of here. And I will in that vein, I will turn it over to my first officer, see if she has any final closing words for this evening.
Well, thank you so much, Captain. Yeah, I want to thank all of you. We're nothing without you. Thank you, each and every one of you, for making this room one of the best places to have a conversation and about one of my favorite topics, Star Trek. I am truly honored that you allow us into your living rooms, you allow us into your spaces, and you provide such amazing content. I mean, you turn it into a real conversation. And you do this because you're also talented and kind and interesting and interested and knowledgeable about Star Trek. I don't know how I'm ever going to thank all of you for doing this, but I have such a great time with you every week, and I savor every word you say. I try and read every single word that you all put into that chat, and I'm always surprised by just how amazing you all are. So thank you, everyone. You were fantastic tonight. I also want to thank our wrenches. It's a thankless job. If you don't know this, wrenches don't get paid. And some of the biggest, best wrenches in the business come here and hang out with us, even though we're a teeny tiny channel. So I just want to say thank you to the wrenches. I also want to take this opportunity to thank some really special people who are backing my new book. They're kicking it 17th century, 18th century style by being my actual patrons. And this is an amazing thing to me. Hopefully I'll have this new book out and available by December, but fingers crossed, I'm working hard on it. It is classic science fiction. And if you're looking for classic science fiction, you might be interested in my work. So anyway, without further ado, thank you so much, Larry, for everything that you do for me. You are such a kind and amazing person. Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric K. and Kirby. Eric, I love you. I'm glad you're feeling better. Enigmatic Drop Bear, you were sensational tonight. Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C. Damn it, Mark. Jill, Maximum Redstone. JJ Cook, Dadman and the Dadman clan, and of course, Lord and Lady Thoth and Sir Lanza Thoth, their little pepperoni. And I want to thank Mark for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful evening this evening. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank my captain, Clobby. I love you. You're one of my best friends in this whole crazy, wild, weird world. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me, and I love you very much. And I think that's it for me, folks.
Thank you. Number one, I love you. Thank you so much. Our chief engineer, thanks for popping in, buddy. Thanks for all the help. What's going on? Any final words?
I'm not. Yeah, well, thank you again. Yeah, we always have so much fun in the chat, and then watching the show every Saturday night. I might not have a geekery. I might change the time because I got invited to a going away party for. We got a family that's headed to California, so I'm going to see her. Maybe I'll make it earlier, do it maybe an earlier on Monday. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but I'll let everyone know. And I'm about 30 watch hours away from getting monetized, so I know I mentioned it the other night. Shameless plug, but and I know. Thank you to some people said they were watching. I guess it's a rolling thing, so it goes like the last year, so it's a rolling count. So I'm super close. I guess they lowered the monetization one level to 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours, which I'd never seen before. So
they done that when I was back then.
Yeah, it would have been nice, right? So I'm like 50 watch hours away. So I appreciate everyone, everyone watching, and if you can watch some of those maybe if there's a few geekeries you missed or something, or put it on at a tab. The watch hours did go up, and then it went down, I guess, the next day. So it's one of those fun things. But really, really appreciate it. And one last enabling, I did post a Steam game in there. It's the Star Trek Bridge Crew, where you could all play controlling the bridge. It was a VR game, but you can play. It's only $10 now on Steam, and I bought it. So I'm wondering if that's something we should try to play on PC. But I'll tweet that out. But that might be fun because you go and you actually control the bridge of the Enterprise. You can play on the classic Enterprise, and you have, I think, 5 people playing or 6 people. I'm not sure. Maybe it's 4. I've got to check. One per, Clobberin times would be the captain. I could be the engineer. Raquel could be the science officer. You can have people manning the console. So I'll tweet that out. But that's only $10 this week. So a final enabling. But yeah, thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. And just USA. It's Memorial Day, where we honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice so we can be on a show like this and have freedom of speech. So thank you everyone, and who made who was in the service, but also as someone I know is in the service, that don't thank me for my service this time. This is to remember those who aren't with us anymore. So it's a solemn occasion for us in the USA, but you also, I guess it's time to celebrate and remember what those people in the armed forces did for us. So but it's been another great Saturday night. So thanks everyone, and thanks Raquel for all those kind words again. Thank you so much. Yep.
Well, thank you. And by the way, before we do the show notes to get out of here, I want to thank Mr. Sean Easttap. I don't think he's here tonight.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that too.
Huh?
I forgot to mention that too. Sorry. Yep.
Didn't load. I had a picture to show of something. Sorry, let's see. What the hell's wrong with this thing? I had a picture of something. He sent me something. He sent me a pretty cool gift. And now I'm having trouble uploading it because what's wrong with it? Come on, StreamYards. Don't be an ass jack. It's taking a second for some reason. What is wrong with you? There we go. These models. He said I don't know exactly where he found them. They're pretty cool, though. Sean Easttap, again, thank you so much out there. Appreciate you, buddy. It's one of them, of course. The top one is it's the NX01, but it's also got the refit in there, right?
Yeah, you can build both. Yeah, I opened mine up. Yep.
Yep, cool. And then, of course, it was the 1701 refit, and then the double pack of the Grissom and the Klingon Bird of Prey. So I want to thank Sean Easttap for that. Just got him in, and you're too kind. Thank you, sir. And so let's see, this is where were I? Of course, everyone, next week, 4 more episodes. Chrysalis, the Treasury Face on, and the Great River. Once more onto the breach and the siege at AR 558. And show notes. If there is a geekery or not, or even if there isn't, you can find me on Sunday nights on Mark D's great channel. Geek it out like this. I made this so we could show. I like showing people stuff.
Awesome.
And yeah,
like
so
that, yeah.
Thank you. Just to show people. And then Monday night, I'll be at J-Man's channel reviewing Legion comics with him at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and with J-Man and Sean. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. I'll be reviewing the first appearance of the Defenders, Marvel feature number 1, and then a special secret comics review, plus open geek talk and whatever. And then, of course, there are the other shows throughout the week, the Wild Card, the Clubhouse, at Nick's channel, Nick's 100th Comic Shop Talk channel this Friday night, 8:30. And like I said, then Saturday night Star Trek. So I want to thank everybody. Let's do we're going to shout out our wrenches who are always here. And then we're going to shout everybody else out really quickly. The great Eric K. was so good to see you here tonight, buddy. Bronze Wrencher, feel better, bro.
For sure, Eric. Hope you're feeling better. Yep.
Chris Berger, Vindicator Wrench of the North. D-Bud Martin, Wrench of Iron, Lord and Lady Thoth, Avon lives long, live the Legion. The Great French Without Fear, J-Man, Hungry Boy, Master of the Club Boney, Kal-El, the Super Wrench, Maddie's Daddy Thor in Vegas, Fanty Outsidey, and our own Music Meister, Max Redstone. And here with us tonight, Apollome's Minion was here tonight, so let's save something to the pupper. Say hello to the pupper. And then let me see who else we had here tonight. Of course, we had Jill here, our communications officer, derivative Jill. FKHC 2005 was here. Joseph Dredd, the judge. King Dolphin TV and Sandra. Raymond and Sandra Felicianos. We're here. Shooter. All right, buddy. Shooter. The great JT Kirk. Mr. Angel. Chef. Let's see. Parker Luck. I always forget the whole name. I'm so sorry, but I got that part of it. I had to write it down quickly. I was writing stuff. I apologize. And just in case, Simply Steve. The lovely Lisa. Classic Comics. Let's see here. Enigmatic Drop Bear 80B. Captain Infinity and Beyond. Zathras. B5's Better. Sean Carter of Mars. And the Golden Scuba Pete. Let's see. Matt G. The Latin Axamanda Bear. Rob Altus. Dave G. Sound. Smilex. Minimus Primeness. Larry, yay. Captain James T. Skywalker, Masters, Maniac, Mexico MMM, John Rupa Struggy, Claude Selling, DJ Ronnie G, Sander Hammerslag, the lovely Sherry, Keely Chow, Rolette Tide, Michael Beacom, and Cassandra, Orville Nation, PJ, thank you for popping in, buddy, appreciate that. Jay Picasso, Monkey Jeebus, Midnight's Oblivion, Wolfie. Let's see. The AI Show, thank you. Jonah Hex, good to see you, partner. And I'm Anonymous, good to see you. Warrior of Justice, thank you. Joe Dog, thank you so much. Dadman of the Dadman Clan, hope y'all are safe out there. Wendy Trauma Warrior. And Jimmy, shout out to you and Jimmy, of course. And let's see here. The great Cardinal Sin. Thank you, Gil. Priest, thank you. And Katie Dax. Love you, Katie. And I hope I got everybody. Everyone, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I hope you have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. Great Sunday. And if you're in the States celebrating Memorial Day, hope you have a great day doing that. We want to thank all the wonderful people who died to give us the freedoms that we enjoy. Could never thank them enough, though. But have a great day celebrating them on Monday. So thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time. Clobber on clobberers and trek on trekkers. Good night, everybody. And have an extraordinary everything. And pardon my garbage memory, but thank you to all who was lurking out there and anyone watching on a download or a rewatch. We appreciate you so much. I should say it more. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Good night, everybody. Clobber on, clobberers.
Jake, if I never see another clan,
It'll be too soon.
I just love clobbering time.